Who's
Oh, I
important
got
for
a
you?
pie here.
Food.
I'm getting a pie. Fielding.
One pie, one beer. Okay. That's kind of awesome. Alright, so, last week, you guys were still in Luskin, uh, in the lower levels of the coal shipping office that was there, the shipping and warehouse. Uh, you weren't sure where he'd gone, but you didn't see any of his minions on that level anymore. So you guys broke up into smaller groups and started searching the place, acquiring some a good deal of money actually, and some magical items. Meanwhile, one of you stayed behind in the room where the gate was located that Galen Cole apparently escaped through, or was activating before you guys tried to interrupt him. And a mysterious stranger appeared and started apparently running some sort of magical instrument over the gate, studying it and muttering to himself. Um, the guy who stayed behind, Will, started to strike up a conversation with the mysterious stranger, and subsequently named him Squidward. A very appropriate name for a stranger with tentacles growing out of their face. Um, he then extended an invitation to Will to come to the Nexus, apparently some sort of interplanar interdimensional hub, and left him a crystal that would apparently bring this kind of round orby crystal, not like the crystals that you guys have been encountering since pretty much game one. Um, left an orb, I should say, to that would help facilitate movement between from here to the Nexus, along with various other people. Like basically, just had to form a link chain of touching each other, and everybody would get transported to the Nexus. Um, at least that's what he advertised. Uh, you guys decided to leave the shipping office, only to discover the first floor was on fire. Apparently, during an escape of the minions, they set a fire, possibly killed some people because there were some bodies that were free of equipment laying on the ground, and escaped somehow. Heinz, who had been with you, decided that he had to go stay in Luskin because you guys had let go two people that he had been hunting. Unbeknownst to you guys. Uh, yes, welcome back, Quentin. You arrived just in time. Uh, so he left into Luskin, but the rest of you went back into Galen Cole's personal office, found his teleportation circle, and used it to whisk yourselves back to Neverwinter. Um, Once there, he returned back to the Windstar Manor and spent the next week or so uh, waiting for the return of your other party. They did minus a few people. Unfortunately, the other party ended up losing the halfling monk named Bethany and the elven scout that you guys had picked up along your travels. Grace had both died. Um, they did mention that they had gotten teleportation help from a wizard who somehow removed themselves from their memory. They have a vague impression of meeting a wizard, but can't remember a single thing about them other than probably a male. At least that's what Gary and Avery have told you. Um, at this point, you guys were discussing whether or not you were going to the Nexus and who to go with you. So, Iron Roses, what would you guys like to do?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Mm.
I think I was in some sorry.
Evil?
Hmm. Yes?
What would you guys like to do?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Rick? What about your characters? Biddy is sitting there at the moment.
Well, our plan is to go to the Nexus, is it not?
There's one of two.
Honestly, between this Nexus and the Giants, I'd rather go to the Nexus, I guess. I don't really want to deal with Giants if we don't have to.
Do we know where this Nexus is, though?
We have a... Well, Will has a item to go to the Nexus.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, everyone who wants to join me in the Nexus, gather up.
So, character-wise, guys, who would you like to bring to the Nexus with you?
So here's my question, because Phaedra would want to help, but this is Rhiannon's kind of quest to try to help find her god. Would you allow both of them to
Yes,
go?
you can bring as many or as few characters as you want. For
Okay.
Tobias and Jesse, are the only two that only have one character at the moment to bring with them, so they have to bring Ralthor and Will. Everyone else has choice.
I don't only have one character, I also have Elmer, Spillis Willis, Elijah Wood, Sherry Seinfeld, Paul Alder.
Okay, technically, you have
Come on, Grizz. Awakened trees are people too, man.
Yeah, Elmer's the only one I currently have a sheet for. But at the moment, Elmer can't reach into the house that you guys are currently gathered in, and apparently attempting to planning on jumping from. So,
With the Nexus, that wouldn't be closer to Waterdeep, would it?
I think it's close to everything, as close as it can get. It is everywhere and nowhere.
Famous. So Beast is gonna go.
okay, Beast is going to the Nexus. Is Phaedra also going to the Nexus?
Yes.
All right.
Let's gather everyone who's going.
What about Adler?
Yeah, just that.
Okay.
So I'm basically moving your character sheets into a subfolder so I know who's where. Adler, are you going?
Give me a second. I don't know which one I want to go.
Logan, are you going?
Two?
The Nexus.
No, I just said Logan wants to make money and not die.
I didn't hear that part, sorry. Biddy.
Yeah, Biddy will go. Yeah.
Okay. Galmil.
Gamel goes wherever Rhiannon goes.
Fawn.
Farn's not going.
Viren.
Yeah, Viren will go. This Nexus sounds interesting.
So then the question still is Adler, is whether or not Adler's going.
Nah, Adler won't.
Okay, so Adler and Fawn are staying behind in Neverwinter. The rest of you guys are going to Nexus. Let me add another subfolder called Neverwinter. So Adler is Neverwinter. Fawn is in Neverwinter. Logan is in Neverwinter. Where did Logan's thing go? Oh, there it is. There we go. And I have my Nexus party. Okay. So, some of the NPCs go with you. Bob, Avery, that Aki goes with you. He's also sticking close to Rhiannon. Mother Windstar and Iolus Windstar both come out briefly to hug Biddy and Viren. You two stay safe, alright?
Sure.
They nod. Mother Windstar just kind of gives Viren a kiss on his forehead and says, we'll look after your brothers. And like, Iolus just kind of hugs Biddy and nods, and they leave. So you guys take hold of the crystal, or orb, I should say, that you have. Oh, right. And you do what Bill was told to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are all touching each other, not inappropriately, just just hanging on to each other. And you feel the sense of translocation, not unlike what you felt. But first,
Wait,
what?
where's Ralph?
He's technically here with you. I just don't know where his token is at the moment. Yeah, he's with them. I'll probably just have to post his token to that.
His token's all the way up.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Found
go.
it.
Hey guys,
Oh,
I'm
no.
here. Wait, where is everyone?
I came from the Nether. Don't mind me.
He was just saying goodbye to Peleus. But anyway. Ooh, nice. So, you guys like hold hands, like touch each other on the knee if you're too small, otherwise, and you feel a sense of translocation, much like at first what you felt with the portals, the teleport circle, but as you don't kind of materialize right away. It's just like there's this weird sensation of being stretched, pulled, and then condensed for a moment, and then you feel the same thing in reverse as you appear in the middle of what looks like a vast square, well maintained. There are all sorts of weird looking archways all over the place, and you appear to be standing on some kind of set of symbols in the middle of stuff. Half of the archways appear to be watched or looked over by small kobolds, but they're wearing armor, which I don't think any of you have ever seen a kobold wear before. They kind of like start for a moment as if they weren't expecting you, and they're looking you over, and you hear a couple high-pitched whistles coming from them. They don't move from their spots as they observe you, but you hear footsteps coming from what looks like another much more vast archway. The archways that the kobolds are guarding don't appear to go anywhere. There's just like a back ring wall right behind it, and they're just like standing there with these arches just kind of standing upright in the middle of things. And then there's two at the equal distance from each other, very far away from where you're standing, like I want to say 200, 300 feet. There's vast archways that seem to lead outside somewhere else. And you hear, as I said, footsteps hurrying from one of them.
Sure, you'll look in that direction, basically. So Gamel's just smiling. He's taking this
Will
all
will
in.
just start walking in that direction if he can.
Ralph waves at the kobold.
The kobolds do not wave back.
Wow, rude. Much.
Gamel's actually gonna just start writing as he's watching everything.
Rhiannon will look over at Gamel and kind of just nod, and she'll pull her journal out and start writing as well.
Okay. What it is. All right. As the footsteps suddenly come to a halt, right outside the archway, and you see before you two towering minotaurs. They kind of stop. They look in. They appear to be looking down at something in their hands. Each of them has something that's like flashing and kind of making more. Sorry, my speech for some reason is just going haywire today. these little
Yeah.
flashing things in their hands, basically. Not exactly orbs. It's more like similar to what Will saw, but it's flashing in different colors. In some ways, it's Will. You're almost a bit reminded of what you saw in the Galen Cole's offices at one point.
Hmm.
Some of those
Kind of
weird,
like
weird magical devices.
Kind of like a holographic screen, almost, right?
Yeah. And they kind of look down, and then they nod. They look over at you guys, and out from between them comes a tabaxi with black fur, strolling towards you guys, and she kind of nods her head. Ah, you must be the visitors we were told about coming.
Yes, Squidward gave me this.
And she kind of lets out a little sigh. Ah, yes, he's going by Squidward now, so you must be the one that gave him his new name. She kind of
Yeah.
shakes her head.
That's me.
Yeah. I apologize.
Well, that's not a problem. He goes through names. Of course, most of the time, people are scream at him and go ah when he shows up somewhere, but he is effective. But yes, he was not the only one who said that you coming by. He just mentioned that he did give his he did give an invite to a gnome, and apparently you have a lot of friends. She kind of like looks around at all of you. Quite a bit of
Fader
friends.
waves.
Raffle waves. Oh, sorry.
Well, welcome to the Nexus. My name is called Gwyneth. Yes, I know that's odd for a tabaxi, but it is Gwyneth. And she kind of like grimaces. It happens. Some of us have weird names.
Yeah, everyone can't be named Squidward.
She sighs. Anyway, welcome to the Nexus. It's a pleasure to have some more people here.
What is this place?
That is...
Wait, stop. Squidward tried to explain and he gave me a headache. Could you lower the scale a little bit?
Well, I don't know how more to explain it. The Nexus is basically it's technically on the Shadowfell, or hanging above the Shadowfell, depending on your point of view. But it has gateways all across the multiverse. It's a central location. It's why it's called the Nexus.
And is it this invite? I imagine it's not a one-way trip.
Oh, it shouldn't be. Not if you're from the location that Squidward. She kind of like sighs. Explained that you're from. He is. Sorry, go ahead.
Explain? What if you're not from that location?
Did you suddenly arrive here from something other than a gate? She just kind of stops and stares. Simultaneously with these folks? She pulls out something from one of her pockets and starts waving it at you, and it starts glowing different colors. She's like looking at it.
No, she came with us.
She looks at the
No,
readout.
with
Oh,
them.
oh, you're from you're from Faerun too. Or that's what we call it anyway. They've got a bit of a crisis going on there right
What?
Faerun 2. What?
now. Well, the rest of these folks, and then she stops as she continues her scanning and stares at Aki. Oh, well, that's weird. Aki just kind of folds his arms. I'm not from Faerun. She says, well, I would expect not. This says you're from Alaris Prime. Interesting. Well, and then she just shakes her head and looks at the rest of it. Well, the rest of you all appear to be from Faerun 1. And that's what, according to Squidward, that you would be coming in from.
Yes, and we would all like to go back to when we're all done, imagine. All of
Alright.
us. And she's holding on to Phaedra.
Yes, we have actually a couple of places we need to visit.
Oh, well, we do have several gates back to Faerun 1.
There won't be a problem with me going back there, will there?
Oh, no, there shouldn't be, unless you wanted to return to Faerun 2. But like I said, there's a crisis going on there right now. This thing, this death curse, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend going there unless you have a really good reason to.
I had a feeling. Yes, I was trying to help stop that before. I guess I got transported to Faerun too. We did not succeed, obviously.
Yeah, well, hopefully someone will take care of it, or it'll run its course. She kind of grimaces again. Well, come along. You're wanted at the Citadel, actually. The other individual who said you might be coming, and in fact, just sent a message saying you would arrive. I don't know how. Well, of course, she shakes her head suddenly. No. You're just wanted at the Citadel.
All right. Let's go.
Lead the way.
All right. So Gwyneth turns around. She passes by the two towering Minotaur bodyguards and starts heading into the streets. Most of the buildings around you look like they're in recent and decent repair, and some of them look like they're fairly new. Like they're not more than a few years old. Even if some of the architecture looks like it's from some sort of ancient time, kind of surrounding it. But nearby, though it's kind of hard to tell how far nearby, you see a very tall tower, kind of like sticking up into the sky. The sky itself is kind of overcast. It's just, let's see. I'm trying to think of who might know. No one in your party. Never mind. So it's just kind of gloomy and overcast up there. And but there's like all sorts of people in the streets. Like no one uniform race. Actually, scratch that. The most of any race that you see wandering around are kobolds. Although they don't appear to be, they're not exclusive. And pretty much the only reason you notice there's a lot of kobolds around is because you keep getting drawn in by the fact that these are kobolds in armor, which again is very strange. You've probably never seen a kobold wearing armor other than leather before. This is like metal armor with shiny metal swords and lances fit for their size. But interspersed among the kobolds in armor are kobolds in fancy robes, who appear to have books in their hands that they're either reading from as they walk and kind of being led around flanked by the ones in armor, or are busy taking notes of some kind as they study things. But you see a whole mix of other races of all kinds. The standard humans, goblinoids. You even see a few ogres here and there. Minotaurs, dragonborn, and other dragon-type people that appear to have wings. Tabaxi, tieflings, Aasimar, other types of creatures. The occasional centaurs even wandering through, kind of like clipping and clapping that you first might mistake just for a horse until you notice that, no, it's actually a centaur.
Fascinating.
But you're led through the streets, past the various peoples that are all intermingled, to reach this tall building. Again, you see guards at the gate that are mostly kobolds, who are standing in their armor. They come to attention immediately. It's kind of like standing rigid, looking forward, and just wait for you to pass by. Once inside, you're actually taking up several levels. Just on a winding staircase. And you go and says, hopefully you are all in good shape. Every once in a while we'll have a newcomer to the Nexus who, well, can't really take the stairs if they need to come in for some reason.
You don't like people with short legs, do you?
Phaedra will help Will.
Aki will actually reach down, pick Will up, and just kind of carry him. He's actually kind of silent at this point. And eventually, you're led to one of the floors, and into a room that looks like a wide, conference type room with a large round table with various weird indents in it. And there, sitting in a seat, feet up on the table, relaxed as can be, and watching you with luminous purple eyes, is Thorn.
Oh, son of a...
No!
Hi.
Why?
Well, I definitely did he just?
Oh, it's a lady I beat in poker or whatever.
Kind of lowers her gaze a little bit and stares at Thorn.
Hello, all of you. See, you finally made it to the Nexus. That'll be all, Gwyneth. Thank you. And the tabaxi woman kind of bows her head a bit and heads out. Gary, Bob, and Avery just kind of like staring and looking at you guys. And Bob kind of leans over towards Phaedra and whispers, "Do you know her? She seems to know you."
Her name is Thorn, also known as the Traveler.
His eyes just kind of like wing right back, and like Thorn just kind of grimaces. "Oh, come on, sitting with titles now, Phaedra." Just kind of smiles a bit. "Sit."
Bob knows books. Bob knows Traveler. Therefore, Bob knows you. So that's the way I put it to Bob.
Bob he just slowly nods, but it's hard to tell if he actually gets it or it's just nodding because he feels like nodding. His mouth is kind of agape. No, but sit, Thorn says. All of you, come on. I was wondering if you're ever going to make it to the Nexus.
I was wondering if we'd ever hear from you again.
Well, I've been been rather busy. Things to do.
Busy with what?
Well, lots and lots of things. Don't worry about it. Still, I have to check in the Nexus every once in a while. Spent some time here. Sometime it was an unwanted prisoner, shall we say, back when a time when it wasn't actually active. Still.
You seem to be running the place now.
Well, no. I just am one of the people that comes and sits on the board. I think some of the others are off, and of course, some of us just can't stand each other and can't be in the same room at the same time. Like, the Mother of Shadows hates me. She claims this is her domain, too. What? You're all so quiet.
Beast will go stand next to the table, but he won't.
Well, we're kind of... Well, we're in a hurry. Well, we need to get going to see Rhiannon's god. We might want to go and check in with the Giant's god.
Oh, well, he's gone missing. The Giant's god, not Rhiannon's god. Or Rhiannon's former god, I should say. I have heard about what's happened there. That does not bode well.
Can't explain.
There are things, entities, that do manage to hide themselves even from godly eyes. And they... Well, some of them... it's not... Let's just say it's not easy to do something... to cause harm or trap or inconvenience a god. It's a very difficult thing.
Rhiannon will kind of step forward. Then what are we dealing with here?
That's what I would like to know too. Been working on, shall we say, a timeline of events. And it took a little while. Sometimes it's hard to tell with factoring in, well, various events between worlds, since time doesn't always... Sometimes time seems to synchronize between various worlds in the material plane. Other times, sometimes years can pass in one world and no time at all in another. But I did finally come up with a sequence of events, things that coincide it all together. Now, tell me, and she again gestures for your old sit, and she kind of gives eyes towards Beast. I will not give my presentation until everyone's sitting.
And Phaedra will go and have a seat. And Rhiannon will.
Yeah, Vern will take a seat.
Beast will take a seat angrily.
But he will take a seat as well.
Will is going to take a seat that is closest to phone.
Is there like a Gamel's gonna sit in the chair, but not in it properly at all.
Sure.
Oh, he turns it around, leans over the back.
More like he sits upside down in it.
In
But he's just
either
gonna
way,
be floating.
that's awesome.
But he's just gonna be floating on the chair, just a bit above it.
First off, can somebody answer me this question? Why is that one, and she points towards Beast, angry?
Well, he is normally that. As far as I can tell.
Do you not eat breakfast today, Beast?
She produces something from a pocket that you didn't know she had and tosses it to Beast. Here, eat this. You'll be feel more like yourself.
No, thank you. I appreciate the
Snickers?
gesture. But
Well, it's chocolate, it has nuts and caramel and some kind of cookie.
This is Beast just like letting it sit at the table in front of him.
yes. Like,
You watch
like
it move.
pieces. I'm not gonna trust Thorn
As
at
a
all.
mage hand pulls it
That's
toward
my
Gamel. Interesting.
What's the matter, Beast?
Why? Let's just say I heard some rumors about how she's kind of not really all that trustworthy most of the time. Like all of the time. And just wants to have fun more than do anything, really. That's what I heard, at least.
Who did you hear that from?
No, our mutual friend James. We had some talks.
Wow.
And the whole apparently there were crazy ties, and like she captured Adlor, and then like she has a demon as a servant. Like, I mean, it kind of just seems like she's out there just to have some fun.
Rhiannon will speak up to this. She didn't capture Adler.
No, she
Saving
won
me.
him in a. Yeah, still.
And
I
hurt
want him
me.
back.
Yes.
Technically,
Yeah.
he's mine.
Still, like playing a game to enslave a being isn't really all that.
Well, that's a typical Tuesday in
Good.
Feywild.
Sure.
Yeah, Feywild is crazy.
Yeah, but should you
Excuse
trust
me.
things from the Feywild? I'm pretty sure the answer is no.
You should see it on a Thursday night.
Thorn is actually over there chuckling, and then she devolves into raucous laughter. Ah, that's interesting coming from the shifter.
What? Uh, I know who I am. Do we
Yes,
know who you are?
of course. I'm Thorn. And she kind of leans forward. But do you know what you are, dear boy? Hmm? Do
I
you
know
not know
who I
the
am.
origins
That's
of
all
your
I
of your
need.
people?
What? What need do I have for origins? That won't change who I am or who I will be.
Because
That's my thing.
then why are you saying that anything from the Feywild is bad? If you say that, you're
I
contradicting
mean,
yourself. Hmm?
what?
Very
Oh,
much contradicting yourself.
oh. Are you saying I'm not trustworthy? Because I mean, I wouldn't say I am 100% of the time. So, I mean, I guess you got me there.
But I've heard this term before. Pot calling the kettle black. So,
Yeah.
so you really shouldn't be one to talk about such things.
I would say it's more of a kettle calling the kettle black.
Agree to disagree on that.
They're not
And-
both kettles.
And before you can blink, there's suddenly a kettle sitting in front of you.
You're a strange
So-
one, Fawn.
So are
Thorn
we here
smiles at
to
Will.
see some? Torn, a weird question. Like, why are we here? Because up until now, it's been parlor tricks and a lot of telling us what to do.
Oh, well, you came to the Nexus, and that's right, I did promise a briefing now that you're all sitting. Now that I have you all here. It's something about an event that happened in the Faerun timeline. It was 20 years ago. Nexus, a bit longer than that. That's when the Nexus first reawoke 20 years ago for Faerun 1, where most of you are from. That's when Barovia came back. You also started having those incidents of the portals appearing. For
Sure.
Laris Prime, and she looks over at Aki with this. It was the incident in Pine Valley. His eyes just kind of widen a bit for a moment, and he looks away from her. It took me a while to build the catalog of all this and realize that these were, in fact, at the same time, relative to each other. And during that time, the mirror cracked a bit.
Mirror?
Mara?
She kind of smiles at you guys. Have you been hearing stories about the mirror dimension? And she looks straight at Phaedra.
A little bit.
Yes. Well, something got in from beyond. I don't know if anything got out, but something got in from beyond the mirror at that point. It's also why the portals between the mirror dimension and here started happening, allowing the crystals, as you call them, through.
That reminds me. Sorry to interrupt. You ran into a friend of yours.
An odd look crosses Thorn's face for a moment, and then she brightens up. Oh, a friend? I have many friends.
Your creature.
It just kind of, her face is kind of comes in passive for a moment. And she lets out a long sigh.
The one you tried to save.
Yeah. That's right, you did see a memory.
Vader nods.
The one I was unable to save.
We were trying to get a hold of you. And she just like pulls out a coin out of her pocket. I was trying to get a hold of you.
Mm.
She almost took 2 of our party and looks at Shiori and Ralthor.
Well, I imagine she is quite lonely where she's at. She's been there for so long. And even when she gets pulled out of the mirror, she's insane.
Yeah, there was this weird bard that popped out as well and made a few of our party members dance. And he was, I mean, he's a bard, so I guess singing is normal, but he told us to sing a lot. So I guess she
Yeah.
wanted entertainment.
Well, she did enjoy music and jokes and all sorts of things. Back in the day, anyway.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to let you know, since we weren't able to reach you, that she came back for a brief period of time.
Yes, contrary to popular belief, I cannot always hear people, especially when there's interference in the way. I imagine you were in a place with lots of interference.
Yes, it was an evil temple to a god by the name of
Orcus.
Orcus is no
Oh.
god.
Yes, he is no god. He is
Oh,
a very powerful demon lord who wishes he was a god.
well, I don't do the religion thing.
A
She just-
god wannabe.
Wannabe god.
Thornton smiles and reaches over and pinches Phaedra's cheek. Good for you.
Man, not all gods want to be.
And she reaches over and pats Galmil on the foot. Yes, in some ways that is true.
No.
But at any rate, she says, that was not the only thing. I know that something bad must have gotten in through the mirror, but someone good and decent also came through, and has been living here in our multiverse, so to speak, ever since.
What was that?
Actually, she's currently here on the Nexus with some friends of hers. Friends she made that day. But, she is an interesting individual. She's also quite old, and so to speak, though she wouldn't look it. Even if you saw other members of her species, you would think that she was, somewhere in the fit, youthful, but experienced range rather than her true age. But she is an ageless individual, and she's been stuck here for 20 years. But her name is Stren. And she's probably with some people, well, 2 of which I think you've already met. Or at least some of you have.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, you'll know them when you see them. I don't want to spoil the surprise. I so much like surprises. It's fun. I love seeing the expression on people's faces. The look of surprise, delight, occasional outrage.
Oh, good.
Looks at Gamble looks toward Raffle. Yes, same.
Well, that's why you're such a lovely individual, Gamil. Don't ever stop being you.
No one but the best. Well, sometimes I'll stop being B. You're just gonna just turn into Viren. Be someone else.
And she claps her hands. Yes. But Biddy and Virenus, how is your brother doing now? How is he adjusting?
He's doing well, thank you. This is Biddy saying.
Poor Fawn. He got touched by by a demigod. One that tore into his memories. Such a terrible thing.
I give her a look.
What? Oh, beast, I never touched any of your friends' memories. And those dice, he chose them. It's not like I gave them to him and told him to start rolling. I offered a selection of prizes. And he made his own choice. You guys are all quiet. Also very quiet.
Anyway, Fawn, we got places to be. Could you direct us in the direction of the things?
Well, if you do want to talk to Strawn about stuff, she's probably somewhere in a cafe over in a more, that's how we say, lucrative district. It's been around for about 10 years now. There's some nice cafes down there, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it on any map. The city was ruins when I was released out of my prison into it. Oh, I didn't have anything to do with that. It was like when it came into being. It started as a piece of shattered time from about... Oh, well, time is relative. I'm going to go with 1,000 years, give or take 100 or so.
And is it possible to go try to speak with this Janir as well?
Oh, you're talking gods now? Well, if I've never seen Denier here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you would know where he is, right?
I was told this place was connected.
Yes, it's connected to other planes in the to other parts of the material plane, worlds of the material plane, worlds of the Shadowfell, worlds of the Feywild, worlds of the Elemental. She goes on listing basically a mixture of Shadowfell plus areas of what I usually, as a GM, refer to as the mortal planes. Mortal planes include the material plane, the elemental plane, and the Feywild and Mechanus, as basically the four basic mortal planes. But she also mentions the Shadowfell on top of that.
So, not Mount Celestia?
I'm afraid not. There's no portals directly to any of the godly realms. It's also a good thing there's no portals directly to, no portals that have been found and awakened yet anyway, to the Nine Hells or any of the major lower planes. I mean, sometimes the Shadowfell is considered a lower plane, but not exactly. It's kind of just on top of the lower plane, sitting on top of it.
As she has been talking now, Will has left his seat and just started walking out of the room. This is not interested anymore.
Poor Will.
Well, that's unfortunate. There's no way you could assist.
Oh, I didn't say that. Why? Why do you wish to get to one of the domains?
To speak to someone for a friend.
Rhiannon looks at Thorn.
Well, I mean, the domain of knowledge. That's usually an area that's potential to get to. But see, that's not my domain. Oh, not my domain at all.
Oh, and the Great Thorn wouldn't be able to get there,
No,
right?
she laughs. Oh, I kid. Actually, it's more of they'd rather I not go there. She laughs. I lied. I just tried not to be as knowledgeable at things as I am.
Phaedra just puts a hand on Rhiannon and just rubs her back. We'll figure this out. I promise.
Let's go with She kind of thinks for a moment and taps her chin. If you all were to die doing something, do you think that you would wish to go to the domain of knowledge? Like I said, I really don't think of going there, but it's
Oh,
not.
so are you telling us to off ourselves to get to the domain? Is
Oh,
that what you're telling us to do?
oh no. It's not a good idea to off yourself. That's not going to get you anywhere good. Souls tend to get lost when that happens.
But you are saying we die to get there.
I'm just saying is that if some bad things were to happen sometime soon, bad things you take on in the course of your adventures, that you might end up at a domain of knowledge.
Rhiannon won't speak up. I mean, I guess.
So the Great Thorn's plan is to just to there is to have us wait till someone dies. And this is someone we need to listen to. I think I've proven my point with the whole "I just want to have fun" statement.
Well, it's more of I am not sure why you feel feel it is necessary to talk to Denier.
Well, Phaedra will speak up. Because it's affecting one of our party members.
But see,
She has lost her god.
But see, from what I understand, that had nothing to do with with actually the god, and everything to do with the mystery, with that which cannot be seen. The
Are
hidden
you
light.
talking about... Oh, what's his face?
Galen Cole.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the rumor I've been hearing. It's quite interesting.
It's not a rumor, it's a fact.
You know,
He went through some portal.
who might possess knowledge about that? You know, weird interjection here.
She thinks for a
Maybe a
moment.
god of knowledge would know something.
No, not if he's already been
Weird,
affected.
yeah.
As from what I understand is, it's being harder and harder to talk to Denier. Something's happening in the, happening specifically to him. I don't know if the rest of the domain of knowledge is safe or not. But, yes, something...
You said affected or infected. Does that
Affected.
mean he affected? So how do we know when a god is being affected? Because that might be like pretty important to know at some point.
Well, like it's been said, and it's been noticed on in Faerun especially, that the god of the the god of the giants is missing. Completely missing. And has caused the ordering to shatter. The giants seem to be under the impression that if they restructure themselves, that they'll get their god's favor again. And, well, I don't think that would actually work. I said, there's something that's happened. And someone's
But-
taking advantage of it.
If the giants were really redoing the ordering, why would they bother coming and attacking human villages, though? 'Cause that wouldn't affect the ordering.
I wouldn't know, and it's up to them. You'd have to talk to them about it.
And Phaedra just looks up. So who do you need to give us something more, Thorn? Who can we talk to try to figure out Galen Cole and try to catch him?
Oh, let's see. Who still is aware of that? Yes, that's true. Someone in the domain of knowledge might be the best answer to that, but... And then there are a lot. She closes her eyes and thinks.
Rhiannon will look up from the table. The Raven Queen said you had answers.
I have answers about certain things. Galen Cole, that's a scary thing. Oh, you have spoken to the Raven Queen, have you? Oh, that's good. That's nice. The Raven Queen, one of the younger gods. She wasn't always a god, you know?
Peace is gonna look at Phaedra and he's gonna go, you do know that even if she knows she isn't obliged to share, right? Because, you know, it's the whole trickster god thing. It kind of worries me. Or demigod
It's
or whatever.
Rhiannon talking.
Oh,
yeah.
to Rhiannon then in
Sorry.
that case.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I'm trying to differentiate their voices because they're together and I'm not doing a good job.
No problem.
Rhiannon will say, she said that if we didn't do something about it, that it would set in order many more threads being cut, and that certain individuals whose fates have been altered, it'll keep happening.
Fate altered. That's a good term. Oh, no wonder why she would be pointing at me. And she thinks for a moment again. She kind of gets up from her chair and just steps up onto the table and just starts looking down at you all. Yes, that is something. Yes. I think she pointed at me because I'm not personally responsible for Galen Cole. I did not have anything to do with him coming into existence or him gaining power, or any of those sort of things. As far as I can tell, I was locked away at the time that he was, that he appeared on the scene. I mean, I was only technically released from that prison 20 years ago. Right around the same time as these things started happening.
I can confirm that. It was before you were released, at least.
Yes. So, therefore, I have nothing to do with him.
Rhiannon will speak up.
But, go ahead, Rand.
But you do have knowledge of what he is trying to accomplish, I would imagine.
Well, he manages to hide, which is extremely odd. I mean, there are plenty of demigods who can hide themselves from, various sight, but at least we're aware of that. Their presence can be detected for various things that they do. This one somehow manages to hide. Even he hides in ways that even the most skilled of the other hiders can't manage, and that is odd. Uh, I think it has something to do with. And she pauses for a moment and just seems to hold her breath, even though, of course, she doesn't actually need to technically breathe. Then she kind of looks at the rest of you and says, as mentioned before, there is all of the situation with the mirror dimension. Did you know that if you placed a bunch of mirrors just right, and even if you stood at a particular angle, that if somebody else looked at another angle, they could not see you no matter how many mirrors are there, because the mirrors keep reflecting everything else but you. Your reflection just keeps getting reflected back to yourself.
Yes.
Yes. I think he's found some way of manipulating things around himself so that he is invisible to even that sort of detection.
He'd also had something interesting on him.
Oh?
Red gems, I believe, or something that embedded in his head.
She spins immediately towards Shiori, and without even blinking, Shiori, Thorn is suddenly directly in your face. And you did not think to lead with this. She's practically on your lap, and you didn't even see her move. It's just like 1 minute she's standing on the table, there, and then next minute she's in your lap, her face in your face, this kind of staring into your eyes.
She doesn't flinch.
It was quite.
Is this important?
Yes, it is very important.
Phaedra will speak up. It's much like the vision that you showed me with that Queen of the Demons. They were embedded in his forehead. 3 of them.
Oh, this is very bad. She suddenly vanishes from Shiori's lap. You do not see where she went, and looking around, you see that she's actually back in her chair, her feet back up on the table, just kind of leaned back. One the back of a palm was kind of like leaned dramatically against her forehead. Oh, this is very bad. Oh, he's got 3 of them, and they're not even. Oh, this is very bad. I guess they're not rings anymore if he has them like that.
Sorry?
She looks over. Was that Biddy or Viren talking?
Biddy.
She looks over towards Biddy. Ugh. Yes, at some point in the past, someone had this idea of embedding the 7 stones into rings, because they really are a good size for rings. I mean, they're not much bigger than an iris.
I hear that.
Yeah!
Someone is taking the rings right now in the background.
Someone at some point decided to embed them in rings, and well, they could be used by anybody. They had special effects with the vampires, and they got passed around as being referred to as vampire rings, and people forgot that they were what they really were. That had nothing to do with the rings. It had everything to do with the stones.
The vampires? Phaedra will just kind of perk up at.
Yes.
What's a vampire?
They bite people. And then drink their blood.
What?
Oh, they're also undead.
Aki just kind of stares at Phaedra. You don't know what a vampire is? He looks very confused at that.
No, I don't. Nope. Nope. Don't think I mean, I've met people that bite. I've met animals that bite. I've met bad things that bite, but I don't remember any of them trying to drink my blood.
Hmm.
Quite nasty things.
Why would-
Aki shrugs at that. I guess it depends.
Well, if they're trying to drink your blood and you don't want it.
Well, that's true of any unconsensual, uh, unconsensual thing.
Not anyone.
So, question. These stones, these rings you're talking about, what benefit would it have him? Would he have any benefit just gaining them individually, or does he need all of them?
Each of them, Thorn's now talking. The stones, as you call them, are... the best way to describe it would be to say they are pieces of various planes. Distilled down into an essence. That's what the Demon Queen did a long time ago. She distilled down the essence of a variety of planes.
So each individual one would grant the bear certain power?
Not exactly. That's what the rings were meant to do. They were meant to translate the energy that they had into various types of power. No, each of the stones had influence with a different plane. And she starts listing them off. Celestial, Shadowfell, Material, Infernal, Abyssal, Elemental, and she pauses for a moment and says, well, elements, there might be technically 4 elemental planes primarily, but they kind of share one locus. And ethereal. Because those were the ones that were in existence that she could reach at the time. The Feywild didn't exist back then. Yeah, Fallon should have come.
Had I known there would be something about the bloody goddamn rings, I would have brought Fawn.
Well, that's why I said you could bring whoever you wanted on this thing. You have to make a choice. I don't know. I don't know which ones he might have now.
Weird question. Is there a way to destroy them?
Oh, there's a way to
That way
destroy.
he can never open the gate?
It's possible to destroy the rings, but not the stones. They were created by the Demon Queen herself, and they lock her prison gate.
Rhiannon will speak up. Well, I know one that he doesn't have.
And Thorn looks over at Rhiannon and smiles. Yes, that's true. As long as my demiplane exists, it should be safe. And he can't reach my demiplane. Not without my say-so. So as long as nothing bad happens to me, like what happened to me for when I was trapped here on in the Nexus, then the ring, that particular one, is safe. Of course, if somehow something bad were to happen, well, then my demiplane will cease to exist, and everything in it will get shunted to the astral void, which includes that ring.
I mean, who would be able to harm you? You're a kind of demigod who no one can ever find, so...
Well, as certain of my enemies have ways, but well, I don't think they care one way or another about what's going on here necessarily. Depending on the one you're talking to, anyway.
Hmm.
So I still don't see how we can. We're here. We can't find Denier for Rhiannon. Yet we can't locate Galen Cole. I feel like we're just wasting time.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, if the only thing left we could do is go towards the giants. And if we can find out what
giant.
happened to their god,
See,
maybe we can find out how to save the
oh, they don't know what's happened to their god. They still think that their god simply abandoned them. They don't realize that their god is missing.
Do you know how to find him?
If I knew that, he wouldn't be missing, now would he?
I don't know. I don't know you that well to make that
And
call.
yet you claim to know me well enough to hate me. So, you're...
I mean, what's your exact title again?
Oh,
Thorn?
I'm just Thorn Walks. I don't go by titles. Some of you might call me by titles, but I'm not actually... Well, she kind of like shrugs her shoulders. Well, titles are up to you. They're not what I call myself.
Okay.
Is there a chance that this...
For some reason, there seems to be something red and floating right behind Beast at this moment.
Beast?
And Ralthor is correct.
There's something behind you.
Oh no. It's a balloon. What is this weird contraption that floats?
There's a string that
I'm
hangs
gonna-
down from it, and it's just shiny and red and almost round. And it's somehow
Tiny,
floating.
red, almost round. It's no longer there.
There's a huge pop noise that nearly deafens you, Beast, as you destroy it. And Thorn is just over there laughing.
Oh, more tricks I see. How fun.
So, anyway, this Strun that you told us about, would they know more about Cole or anything? Should we go talk to them?
Well, I don't know if she would know anything more, since she came in at the same time the Nexus reawokened. But she might have a better perspective on something that's going on with the gods and whatever else might have potentially come in with her into this multiverse, so to speak, at the same time.
Phaedra looks around at the group. I mean, we can go talk to them, or we can just go home. I don't know what to do from here.
Me either. This is...
Frustrating.
yes.
Oh, that's
Phaedra will...
up to you, says Thorn.
I mean, we could try talking to them to see what they might know what the gods would at least get something out of this.
Indeed. Biddy will just start head out.
And at that point, Thorn gets it from the table and kind of like pats Galmil on the back and just seems to be whispering something to him without much in the way of sound.
Rhiannon gets up and starts walking, and her head is just hanging very low. Kind of sauntering off.
Aki, at this point, gets up and follows after Rhiannon. Are you alright?
Of course I'm not alright.
I guess you had hoped that we'd come here and suddenly all of your questions would be answered?
I would hope that one of my questions would have been answered.
I would hypothesize that Galen Cole is responsible for your disconnection, your fate change, where it comes to to the god of writing.
She turns to Aki. I know it was him. I've known it was him. I need to find him, and all we are getting is just dead ends and saying that he is hidden. I can't find him. I can't connect with my god. I don't know anything about my past. I don't know anything anymore. And she's just getting so frustrated and is just on the point of tears.
Aki just kind of puts his hands on her shoulders and, her on her shoulders and like offers like a hug of sorts, like just seeing if she will accept the hug or, if she wants to move away from him because he can easily move either way when it comes to that.
Yeah, she will not accept and push back.
Okay, so she
sorry.
immediately lets her go and puts his hands down and decides,
Just let me be.
all right, if you need to talk, Rhiannon, I will be around. And he heads back towards the rest of the room. Meanwhile, what exactly is Will doing? Because I know Will has been out of the room for a while.
Probably just wondering. This is the Citadel, so I assume you said there were guards outside. He's just wandering around.
Yeah, there are kobolds in shiny metal armor standing outside.
He's not doing anything specific. He's just waiting for everyone else to be done.
And he's not being sneaky about it so that people can see him when they leave.
No, he has no reason.
Okay, I just want to check. Which also means you probably would notice Rhiannon coming away with tears.
I'll follow her.
Sure is basically exiting at this point to go find whoever this person in the cafe is and hope they have something.
Phaedra will follow Shiori. Just walk with her.
I'm about done with this dinner as well.
Okay, let's just have a chat.
I take it, Ralph, you're being quiet because you're eating? Okay. So, we have Ralph following Phaedra.
Yes.
Is anyone staying in the room with Thorn?
Well, one person.
Baron will probably be the last to leave.
Phaedra wanted to say something to Thorn before she left, but
Okay.
if she's talking to Gamble, then she won't.
She sees she probably sees the your eyes and moves away from Gamel to talk to you. Did you need something, Phaedra?
You've given me information. You've shown me visions. I don't know everything about what they mean. But my existence on this plane that you took me to, this Faerun one,
That's the designation they gave it, yes.
Or whatever. I don't know. Do I at some point have to return back to Faerun too?
Oh,
Or
you can go back there if you want. You could stay here if you could stay in Favorite One if you want. It's all up to you. Now that you have access to the Nexus, you should be able to transport between them. Assuming that the people of the Nexus give you the ability to do so. I mean, they're willing to send you back to where you started, but back to where you first transported in, wherever that location was, in Faerun 2 and Faerun 1.
I don't remember. I think it was a bar. I can't remember.
No. She has a friend. Where all of you just came in from. Here to the Nexus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And just to answer your question, the bar in question was the Yawning Portal. I sent you and Shiori there after you met.
Ah, yes.
And how are the two of you together? It seems that I might have a wedding to look in on at some point.
Phaedra will smile and, yes, in the future.
I had a feeling about you two. And she taps Phaedra on the nose.
That's if we can figure out what's ailing, I guess, this plane. We need to figure this out before we settle down at all, so, but I will let you know. I'm just concerned because I feel like you've helped us out, and I understand that there was interference and we couldn't get a hold of you, but we really needed you back there. And we've been trying to find you for some time. All of us, actually.
Well, the Windstar brothers did manage to contact me briefly at one point.
What?
Oh, they didn't tell you?
No. Oh, when was this?
Oh, she tries to think. I suppose... she thinks again. It was not that long ago. It was after Fawn apparently after Fawn reconnected with his brothers. He needed help with a memory issue.
Oh. A memory issue. Did you assist him with this?
Oh, briefly. I was in the middle of a bunch of other things, and well, they managed to get a hold of me, and I came in, helped, took payment for it, and had to leave immediately after.
So he does have his memories back.
Yes, he does. Oh, did he tell you no? Oh, then you don't know what's happened to him, do you? Oh, it's quite fun what happened to him.
What happened?
And she leans forward and whispers to Phaedra, "He's no longer a full elf."
Okay.
Nope, he's part human now. He's got human blood running through those veins of his.
Just another case of Windstars not providing information to the group. Noted. Thank you, Thorn.
Oh, you're welcome. And she tweaks Phaedra's nose.
I'll let you know about the wedding.
Oh, don't worry, I'll be there. Whether you want me to or not, I'll be there.
Oh, great. And she just kind of looks at Thorn with a smile and then just kind of shakes her head and says,
And when you look up again, Thorn is back in the room, arm around Galmil.
She'll go back and walk with Shiori out of the room. She'll lean over to Shiori. Fawn got his memory back and didn't tell us. Yeah, that was my reaction as well. moving on. We'll deal with that when we get back home, I guess.
Thorn vanishes from Galmil's side. All of a sudden, you look around. You didn't hear her move. She's no longer there. Biddy, where are you at right now? Biddy Windstar, where are you?
Outside with Will.
Alright. So, I guess you two are talking. Rhiannon and Ralph are there as well. And there's a sudden tapping on your back, Biddy.
What?
And
He'll instantly
and
turn
Thorn is
around.
there.
Yes. Can I help
Hello.
you, Fawn?
So, do you want help with your current appearance? I can only imagine that a certain dragon is responsible for it.
You'll be right as to who's responsible.
Ah,
But-
yes, the old madman himself. He really loves playing around with things.
I have grown accustomed to this form.
Well, it does kind of suit you. You look very chaotic now. It's great. Much better than stuffy old high elf.
Is there a reason you're asking?
Well, is this the form you truly wish to be, or is there another?
Why do you wish to know this?
Because I'm willing to offer you a trade.
A trade.
Yes.
Does Beast hear this?
Where is Beast?
He went outside of the eating rooms somewhere. So I guess he was heading out. I don't know.
Roll a perception
He
check.
really was. Come on, Beast.
Oh. You're just coming down the
Damn.
stairs, heading outside, and you're hearing Biddy say that.
Don't do it. Remember, every single time we made a deal, it never ended well.
Thorn calls back, I never made a deal with you!
We made a
I'll
deal with a
decide-
bunch of people, though.
Beast,
Yes.
I'll decide for myself. Thank you very much.
Ah, he's comical. So, what do you say, Biddy?
Depends.
Any form reset that you want.
And what is it that you seek in return?
And she leans forward and whispers very softly in your ear.
Will is standing right next to her. Can he hear?
Roll perception check.
Imagine Shura and Vader walking and see this gaggle of
She
people.
is talking so softly that even your sensitive gnome ears cannot pick it up. She's talking directly into Biddy's ear.
Biddy is giving Fawn a very curious look.
Any form you want, just name what form.
But why would you want that?
That is my business, not yours. You don't get to ask that question.
Well, the answer is no.
Alright then.
I'm having a silent party in the back.
Silent party.
Alright.
I'm doing the wave with me and Quincy. Like, I can point and then it goes to the 10th corner, then it comes back.
Aki comes down the stairs, sees this, and it stops and stares at Beast.
I quickly recompose myself.
Are you doing?
Nothing, I just won a small victory. So I'm happy.
That is a most unusual display of victory that I've ever seen.
Does Biddy notice Beast's weird display?
Biddy, roll perception check.
Peter's got a passive of 19. I see the happy dance.
But
Can I say the happy dance?
Valthor, perception check. Because you guys are outside and not looking inside to where Beast is at.
No! Beast stone manly facade is breaking down.
Valthor is not does not see it, but Biddy catches some sort of weird movement of Beast out of the corner of his eye. Phaedra, you're around the bend on the stairs, unable to see him, but you do hear Aki say, "What are you doing?" Or something to that effect.
Is Vaughn still there, by the way?
No, you left her behind in the conference room, and actually no, she vanished again from your back, and she reappeared in the conference room.
Biddy's currently not too pleased.
Aki just shakes his head and walks past Beast, and looks around at the rest of you. So, what exactly are we doing? He asks.
Yes, I'm curious at it myself. He kind of walks down the stairs and outside.
Phaedra.
Biddy's just gonna. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
Not you, go.
Alright, we'll take the lead.
She'll just speak up. The only helpful, only piece of information we got was to talk to this individual Stern at this cafe.
Who we
Oh,
start?
cafe.
He's been stuck on the Nexus for the last 20 years whenever
Bob-
Barovia
Bob
appeared
said-
in
Bob
Favorite
kind
One.
of like walks back behind you and kind of blinks. Says, I thought that the name was Strun and that it wasn't here on the Nexus that she just appeared. What was this behind the mirror thing that I keep hearing? She got stuck in the multiverse. Apparently from outside the multiverse? I don't quite understand. Not that they were necessarily stuck on the Nexus.
I don't quite get it myself either.
I don't understand it. All I know is that we need to. That's the only lead we have right now. So we go and talk to them.
Man, when I find Squidward, I'm gonna tell him this place was useless.
Yeah, let's go.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd rather not be here any longer.
I
Hmm,
suppose
what's wrong?
we can just go ask to go home, Bob says to Biddy. We don't necessarily have to stay here.
We have a task to do.
We need
I
to
thought
follow
that task was the
everything we
giant. Because Gary and Avery says that we can work on doing that. We don't have to involve the rest of the Roses. That he's more than willing to lead an expedition there if that's what it takes. But after what happened to Beth and to that Grace woman, I don't know.
We will return home. We need to follow all the leads we have to help Rhiannon right now.
Exactly.
Bob
And
nods
find out more information
slightly.
about Cole.
But Aki just kind of like pats Bob on the shoulder, trying to relax him.
We're not just gonna leave without looking under everything we can, looking into everything we can. We've let this fester for too long.
Bob nods and pulls the hood closer around himself. So many people here.
Let's make way to the cafe. Where's a bloody map around here?
One of the kobolds nearby in robes kind of looks over at you. Says, "Hi, I can point out anything you want. Where do you want to go?"
Need to go to a cafe in this new district that just popped up about 10 years ago. We didn't get a name for it, but we didn't actually get a
Once we actually got some actual trade coming in after the first 10 years, we were able to actually have real shops and more than just some blacksmith and brewers and stuff like that. We actually had some real cafes and restaurants in here and some other shops that did more than just necessary work. It's quite cool. I know what you're talking about. It's not far from here. Everything leads away from the Nexus. Away from the Citadel. here on the Nexus. The Citadel is the center of the Nexus.
Yeah, very useful. Biddy, you seem upset.
Indeed. Let's just go.
It's known as the Commerce District.
Can you lead the way, please?
Sure,
He
sure.
says.
So, you guys are all new to the Nexus, right?
Indeed.
How'd you find this place? You coming through
Squidward.
random portal or oh yeah, the Illithad. Ah, Squidward, that's his new name. Okay. Yeah, seems to get new names every once in a while.
Yeah, I was chuckling when looking at Will.
Will is looking a little bit stern.
The kobold blinks at the gnome. Something wrong?
No, nothing is wrong. Everything is in order.
Oh well. So, where you folks from? You from one of the known locations then? If Squidward brought you here, he probably has to come from one of the known locations, not one of the newer places that occasionally people just fall in from.
I believe we're all from Faerun 1?
Yes,
Ah,
favorite
okay.
one.
Yeah. Different people take turns naming things, so there's some crazy names out there. But they name them based on, if it's a parallel world or not. Name of the world, and then if it's a known parallel, they'll put 1 and 2, or occasionally they'll put things like Prime and Beta and even Alpha. Who knows why they name things like that? It just happens. Kind of takes you down the street, and then you see a more open air district, and there's lots of people here. Bob is looking decidedly uncomfortable. He's like disappearing into his hood. Aki's got a hand on his shoulders to keep him steady. Bob and Avery are just kind of like, not sorry, Gary and Avery are taking up places around Bob just to kind of keep him safe, so to speak. As the kobold in robes just kind of leads you guys in. It's an much more open area. The buildings are less close together. The streets much wider. There are some kind of magical lighting system that's up, providing lots more light along the street. There are lots of people, as I said, of many different kinds, much like what you were seeing before, but less. It seems like it's less guard heavy. You don't see as many of the kobolds in armor, and you don't see some of the bigger minotaurs or ogres that were carrying around weapons like you were in the Citadel Row, so to speak. You see a lot of people hanging out, various little cafes and other restaurants. People carrying shopping bags, walking about. It looks very affluent, much like some of the upper-ended areas that you saw in Waterdeep or even in Neverwinter. And nobody's giving you odd looks. It's hard to tell which of the, cafes out here that might be the one that Thorn was referring to. However, let me think. Everybody roll perception check.
Oh, nope.
And roll it with double, because some of you have advantage depending on who you're looking at, and I don't want to tip my hand as to who.
I hope I get an advantage. Good.
All right.
Yeah. There we go.
Gimel and Rhiannon. And Biddy, I think, for that matter, because I think you were the three that met him, of this particular group. You guys are, scanning around, looking at different faces. There's all sorts of random humanoids, and other types of people. But what immediately catches your attention and draws your eyes immediately to them is the fact that at one of the cafe tables is sitting a rather large, purple-furred bear. Bear folk, actually. Who's just sitting there, and immediately all you could... You remember you... Actually, Viren actually met this guy too at one point. That you met this individual before. And Rhiannon, you also recognize the individual sitting next to them. I think I'm spacing on the name, but a tall, rather tall bug-like being, with tall, gangly arms and legs, insectoid, antennae. Because you recognize this as the old leader of the of the archaeology guild that you belong to.
Rack.
Yep. And next to her is the bear folk Gamma that you met. Sitting across,
dig for his
sitting
name.
across her name. Sitting across from them is a wood elf that you've never seen before. She just looks average with long brown hair, wearing brown leather, and she appears to be drawing in a sketchbook. And next to her is... It's hard to explain. I mean, they are humanoid, definitely. Green-skinned, vaguely reptilian, or perhaps amphibian, though scaleless. Green skin with yellow dots here and there, like large dots, ones bigger than an eyeball, dotting the skin. And they appear to be dressed in some kind of metal or metallic seeming either clothing or armor. It's hard to tell. But they appear to be having a conversation with Rack and Gamma.
As soon as Gamma recognizes someone, he's going to walk over to that direction.
Yeah,
Oh. Guess we're gonna get in that conversation then.
Will is going to stealth.
Gamma, he has no
ready-
personal boundaries.
Just waiting for the stealth roll. I want to see. Okay.
It's an even.
That's a cool roll.
Rhiannon will walk up. Rack? Is that you?
The Thurkin kind of looks up and blinks. The antennae waving, rapidly, and you hear in your mind her familiar voice saying, "Rhiannon, oh, it's a pleasure to see you here in the Nexus." And she kind of gets up from her chair and offers her hands out to the to the human. Meanwhile, the bear folk is looking up at Gamma.
Well, what are you doing?
First, what does Phaedra say?
Oh no, Rhiannon just gave her, she reached out for her hand and she gave Rack one of her hands. That's all.
And Rack squeezes, kind of like a grandmother, since Rack is very old. Gamma just kind of blinks and's like, "Oh, I remember you." He says this in common, actually. "You are Gamma, aren't you?"
No one had known me.
"Yes, you're still as strange as the last time I met you."
Compliments get you everywhere.
He kind of blinks a bit as the other two at the table just kind of stare at the group of you.
What are y'all doing here?
Gamma kind of looks back at the other two, glances over at Rack, and then looks. Sorry, Rack. You're addressing Rack. So Rack is the one that kind of glances over at the other two, then at Gamma, and then you hear in your mind, Rhiannon, "Oh, just spending the day with some good friends. It's been a while since I've seen them." "Oh, you appear to have made more friends as well, judging by how many companions you have."
Yes, we made it back from the Feywild and joined a guild. Iron Roses, based out of Waterdeep, in Faerun.
"Oh, how lovely."
Random question. You don't seem to know I can't pronounce her name. How is it?
Strun. Strun.
Strun. You don't happen to know a Strun, do you?
The Rack kind of gestures over towards the strange being in the armor with the green skin, and the being kind of lifts, kind of like opens an eye about. They don't have any hair or anything like that, so it's more like I wouldn't exactly say lifting an eyebrow, but it's the equivalent thereof.
I will say yours, right?
And the being kind of looks around at the group and nods. Yes, I'm. My name is Shun. I take it someone sent you to find me.
A friend.
That
Thorn.
covered. Oh. Her. I guess she's in the Nexus today. And the being lets out a long sigh. The wood elf kind of looks up from what she was drawing and looks around, and then puts a hand on Strun's shoulder. Is something wrong? And Strun just kind of pats the hand a bit and says, "No, it's just that Thorn's apparently about. So, what can I do for all of you?"
Gimel looks at Rhiannon.
Rhiannon will introduce herself. My name's Rhiannon. I come from Faerun. We're trying to get information regarding a certain event that happened about 20 years ago. Might
At this
help
point,
us.
all four of the people at the table just kind of stop whatever else they're doing and lean back and turn towards Rhiannon. And Strun is the one that speaks. Yes. That's how we all met. That
Please, if you
incident.
could go into detail.
Well, I was on one of my normal patrols. I guess it's really difficult to explain since from what I understand, the Faerun barely, well, doesn't do too much transportation, especially not. Well, she kind of gestures upwards. Doesn't transport easily between worlds. Doesn't exactly understand the mechanism, so it's very difficult to explain what it is I was doing before. But I was in the middle of one of my patrols, patrolling a particular section of, well, space. It's the best word for it. The best word I think even you guys understand. Was patrolling the area that was central to the incident. The incident that birthed what you guys refer to as the Feywild. Um, that's kind of my route, and there was this weird. To kind of try to think of a word. This weird light. Let's go with that. That kind of appeared, and I was detecting, and so I moved closer to it. It's on patrol. It's part of my patrol shift. And next thing I knew, I was waking up in a strange room. Not sure how I got there. Neither did any of them. Vac, Gamma, Sunfire here, and she gestures towards the elf. Or the others. We ended up having to kind of solve a few puzzles and find our way out. Unlike me, they're actually all from different parts of. Well, when I say here, I don't mean the Nexus. I mean what you refer to as the multiverse. And she just keeps spacing on what to name things. She keeps, pausing and trying to think very specifically about it.
Interesting.
So you didn't know each other before this event, correct?
Not at all. We'd never met before. well, for one thing, I said I am from outside of what you understand is the multiverse, and they're all from in here. But no, they didn't know each other either. Yeah. In fact, one of them had apparently been in suspended animation. She said the way she says that, it's like, a combination of words that probably doesn't mean much to your characters, more than your actual people. And she basically thinks about that for a minute, and it's like, well, he was kind of in suspended animation. He'd been from an earlier part of a time. In fact, what was it? We determined he got pulled out of time around the same time that the Nexus came into being. Because it was about 1,000 years ago. He was about to die a really nasty death, and somehow he got somehow whatever incident created the Nexus, as we the world that we refer to as the Nexus, happened, and he was one of the people that got pulled out of time and put in suspended animation, and then he ended up inside the I keep thinking of it as a security system that was built. I don't think that's quite right, but that's how I've always seen it. The
And
others
who
always
is this?
Oh, a really weird dragon creature. I believe you called them Dragonborn, named Spargo.
Spargo. We know that name. Turns to Biddy and Shiori.
Indeed, we do know that name.
Sure, she's just kind of nodding, and she's thinking, basically.
Yeah, it says, I last saw him. I told you, I last saw him in the Feywild, and he was getting transported back home by the Dark Prince.
Not before making a stop in Waterdeep. He apparently aided in another with stealing something.
Yes.
Okay, so this Spargo, he was about to die and then ended up being stopped in time and being pulled out.
She nodded. Unlike a lot of the people here in the Nexus that were here before, that were here 1,000 years ago, he was one of the ones that just didn't get reawoken. There was this an individual that I understand was trapped in stone that they actually managed to revive. He'd been apparently in stone for thousands of years, and they brought him back, but Spargo had a different story.
What was the name of the individual that was trapped in stone?
Oh, his name is Lokar. History check for anybody who wants it.
Since trapped in stone advantage?
Trapped in stone advantage.
No, because it doesn't have any. You wouldn't have ever heard the story of him being
no.
trapped in stone before.
I try to do what I can with my -1. Thank you.
Nope. I don't like acting know anything.
And Galmil, actually no, Galmil, you guys, Will, Galmil, and Phaedra and Rhiannon definitely have actually heard this name because they remember it. When they were in Waterdeep. The guy who supposedly created the place under the mountain.
Oh, the Mad Mage!
That 20 years ago apparently reappeared here. I'm sorry, in Waterdeep. And Sean goes on with saying, I'd heard rumors that he'd actually had that happen twice. They got revived from stone, then eventually, some years later, went and turned himself back into stone to wait, and then got revived when the Nexus got reawoken.
Phaedra had that random natural 20, actual 19 during training where she remembered, she was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird that they're calling him Lokar. Isn't his name blah, blah, blah? The player can't remember, but I know she got that.
Yeah, because remember I decided to replace that guy with Lokar because Lokar was the perfect substitute. I'm like, wait a second, I don't need Lokar and this guy. Lokar is got a lot of history with all sorts of other stuff. I'm just gonna replace Hallister with
Yes.
Lokar because Lokar's a perfect fit.
He's an interesting individual, it seems. I'd like to meet him.
Yeah, who creates a lock on a door where you have to present it with beer and a dwarven love song? That's just kind of weird.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and Phaedra will speak up.
And says, I thought you talked to Thorn already.
No, wait, what?
No, it's because she raised her hands like, considering what I'm constantly hearing about Thorn, it's like Thorn's one of those type of people that would create such a thing if she was inclined to create dungeons. Of course, she kind of is the one that drove Lokar mad to begin with, apparently.
No, that makes sense.
Good to know. Great. Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
no,
either that or
us-
let him become a really horrific individual. Apparently, he's quite evil with that said madness.
Yeah, some madmen are different than others.
Yeah, we had to like shine light on a door and then like present it with a keg of ale and then sing a dwarven
I got to
love song
dance.
called Your Beardy Face to get it. He was quite mad.
Oh wait, yeah, I was in a duet with.
He's making a note. It's fine.
Just gamble. I'll use this as blackmail one day.
No, it's fine.
By the way, that's completely unintended for your tokens to look like a picture.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know why I see like some sort of like baby T-Rex or something.
But I'm now looking at it and it looks like a cat to
Like a
me.
brontosaurus.
I think cat with a short tail because a brontosaurus has a really long tail.
We've created a creature without tokens. Oh, I guess wrong.
There you go.
You're on it, Quentin.
And I'm the booty. And the poopo.
And I think at this moment we're going to have to take a little break here and get ourselves some water.
Cool.
And just
Yes.
to distract from that and figure out what we're gonna do next.
Yay.
Keep on your toes, audience. Be back in about 5-10.
Yeah, we're back.
So guys, what are we doing? What's the plan?
Everything. We're killing Fawn.
Look, I'm all for it. Just say the word. Just say the word and I'll go.
Oof.
No, I just don't trust Thorn. From all the shit that happened, I can't trust Thorn. For one, trickster god thing, I don't know. I don't trust it. For all I know, she's working with Cole.
Could be.
There's no reason not to believe that. That's my problem.
It's a very possible outcome.
It's not like she didn't tell us how to find them, which basically means 10 more Galen Coles out there, which she just can't find. We can't get into contact with the God of Knowledge, so we can't know. So that leaves like going giant hunting, but like no, thank you. Next, what else is there? We're doing this, questioning this guy now. Cool. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find coal anytime soon, to be honest.
We'll find him one day.
Yeah, but not soon. The Giants are probably kicking butt right now, but I don't know why they aren't kicking each other's butts harder. Because if I'm not mistaken, like the difference between Giants is pretty big. They might just be lazy though, I don't know. Maybe my next character is gonna be a Bugbear or Goliath, and I wanna increase my rank in the Ordering.
No.
Could be a cool idea.
What are you talking about, Quentin?
That might be a cool idea to play either a Furbolg or a Goliath, and like try to increase our rank in the Ordering. Because they are technically speaking giant kind, even though they aren't in the Ordering. Furbolgs and Goliaths are kin of giants, but not giants. So it might be interesting to be for my next character to be one of those and like try to get into the Ordering. I don't know. Could be something fun.
Not entirely sure how that would work, but you know, you can always try.
I mean, as a Furbolg, it's easy, Grizz. You just need to beat up other giants. That's how you get into the Ordering.
Yeah, but a Furbug can get stepped on by most other giants.
Yeah, but if I can get a slag off, he can't step on me anymore, you know. Just gotta get to the level of a Giant Slayer, you know. Can't be that hard. I'm confident that, like, Beast can take a giant in a one-on-one.
A hill giant, maybe. Probably a Goliath if they're a very weak Goliath. An ogre. Let's see.
I mean, I have the Giant Slayer X. Don't forget that, because that probably busts my attack power quite a bit.
That's true.
Yeah, how hard are Frost Giants? Because I don't think they have much more HP than 100. If I'm not mistaken. I don't know. It's probably around there. So that means
Frost
I
giant
need to
can still step on you. Is the thing.
Yeah, it can step on me, but I have more HP than it has, and I'm resistant to it.
So you're the equivalent of a cockroach to a frost giant. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
it
accept
can
that.
step on me. But like, I mean, I have more HP than it does if I rage. Like, I feel confident in
And
my
what are you gonna
chances.
do with about a giant that is also a barbarian with a tiny killer axe?
Chris, that's not how D&D works.
Yes, it is. GM says so.
Then Beast is gonna find 20 potions of Titan strength. And
They don't
beat up the
stack.
giant. Yeah, but I mean, if you have Titan strength, you can beat up a giant easily. I just need 17 potions to beat up every kind of giant there is.
Okay. So basically, you want to be Ant-Man, is what you're saying.
Sure. No,
Got it.
because Ant-Man can be big.
But he
I
turns into
want to
Giant
be
Man,
tiny
yes.
Ant-Man.
That's what I said. You'd be
You want to be
normal
the
Ant-Man.
wasp. You want to be the wasp.
No, see, the wasp has wings, and he's not talking
Wasp
about
has
flying.
wings.
So
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I could have gotten flying. If I get enough levels, Grizz, I can fly. You want to give them to me?
Oof.
I am not summarily giving you levels. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Oh.
I really thought you were gonna do that, Chris. I thought like you were gonna go like, Quentin, for every character I killed from you, you're gonna get a level.
You mean every
I was
character you caused to die sillily?
Yeah.
Like the
Look,
one that stepped on a pit this pit trap that he saw. To the one that.
Stop putting that on me. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna step in front of the dude who's doing stupid stuff, and then we're gonna be like, whoa, you fall in a bit of acid. Woo-hoo.
That's into a black pudding. That's because he was to stand in front of him would be to stand on the pit trap that he was hitting with his fists. That's why he was doing something stupid.
I was pretty sure Boris was smart enough not to go stab.
Clearly not.
In my defense, like in character, he would have been smart enough.
No, you had to actually activate your character, and you said specifically, you go and stand in front of him. Well, in front of him is the pit
I
trap.
can push it back. I can push it back. Whatever. It's fine.
No, you did not You did not say you were gonna pull him back. And if you tried pushing him back,
It's
you
fine.
still
Chris, let's back on the bygones. For my next character,
Calm down, you two. Calm down.
my next character is gonna have as many levels as characters you have killed.
Let's see. How many characters is that now?
I mean, it's probably around 7, which technically is.
And
decent
I
level.
don't know if that's gonna count though the 2 that died off screen because you were the one that chose that.
I mean, even if you don't count them, let's go down the list. All right, we have Mao.
Now you're counting Mao twice or once.
Yeah, you can't do it twice or once.
Fuck it, let's count him twice.
I'll do that twice.
Because he can. Let's see.
Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn.
The guy with the O in his name.
Boris.
Oh, no.
The guy in the guy
Octovi? Or Toby?
Octovi. There's the guy in Citadel in Sunless Citadel.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, I don't know
So
his
long
name
ago.
either. But Fawn caused him to die. Remember that. Fawn caused his death in that one.
Yeah. Who else do we have? We have Trunk.
Let's see. Toothless, Trunk, and John all died off screen. You said that you didn't want to play them anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So they don't count.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say per se
and William's
Trunk
still
died off screen.
And William is still alive. He's just
William.
unplayable.
Here, wait. Let me
It's
open
just
some old games to look at it, Chris. It's been a while. Boris Fellhammer. Don't
Yeah.
forget about him. We're at 6 now. I just need to find one more character you killed of me, and then I can start a 7th level character when I die.
Should I add mine? You want me to add mine?
How much you multiply by how many times I've killed Phaedra?
0.
Exactly.
So here I am. I'm waiting for everyone to get back for continuing. I go on to Facebook, and this is the first thing that I see. It's a post, right?
Okay.
This is what they said. Just spotted a cat on someone's porch, yowling to be let in. Without thinking, I walked up to the door and rang the bell. Nodded to the cat and left. It was only when I rounded the corner I realized what I'd done, as I heard the owner shouting, "Fuck me, Sarah, this cat just rang the doorbell."
Yeah, I've heard that one before. It's great.
I found a character you also killed.
Wait, no, Will is back.
You killed Huddy from Death Prison.
That I'm not counting that one. Everybody died in that.
Fair.
It was a one
Fair.
shot. Everybody. It was.
That's fair. Okay, let's look at
And
another
besides,
game.
besides that one, you again, like with Boris, you did it to yourself. You activated the
Chris,
switch.
Look, Chris, I'm at 6. That's the lowest level we can start at.
Hey,
I mean,
Quentin, you killed one of my characters.
wait, when?
In Death Prison.
I didn't.
Yes, you
I don't
did.
remember.
And you killed the
That's-
and you killed the other one by abandoning him.
That's not my fault. That was the logical thing to do.
To
That
go
wasn't
back to
killing
the
him, that was
amulet.
saving myself.
Well, that's true.
Different.
You guys were all evil in that game.
Did I die in the original Out of the Abyss campaign? I don't remember. I don't think I did.
Hmm.
All right. So is everybody back yet?
Don't think so. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Check.
I think so.
Okay, I think everybody's back.
Everyone that's here says
I
Oh.
I.
okay. I
Aye.
think Clinton might be the only one that's not here.
Quentin was the one talking.
Man. I never even left.
I never even left.
Good one, Jesse. Good one.
Like, yeah, where are you?
I'm gonna. If I was there, if you were here with me, I'd be patting you on the head right now. But anyway, continuing on with our story. You guys were sitting around the cafe talking to the people there. You just learned that one of the people that was also pulled through time, or through space, or suspended animation, any of those sort of things, was Spargo, who some of you have met.
Yeah. This is fine. You know? That's fine. Wow. Any other questions we have? I suppose.
Rhiannon just flips her a book. This is gonna be a long shot. But does the name Galen Cole ring a bell to any of you?
Kind of look at each other. And Strun looks back at you. It doesn't. It's not somebody that I believe I've met, but I am good with gathering information. It's always been part of my jobs, so to speak. Galen Cole has been mentioned in conversation before. Some of the people that founded and then immediately vanished from the Nexus, or I should have said reawakened the Nexus and then kind of took off, had mentioned that name as a relative. Someone that was a father. There's also rumors that Lokar might have known Galen Cole. Something that Lokar was said to have been ranting about at one point. Of course, with Lokar, it's hard to tell. He comes to the Nexus occasionally, but he hasn't been back in a while.
Very interesting.
The relatives that they vanished or they left?
They have not been seen since they left. Since they had intended to make the Nexus their home, it is believed they died or were imprisoned. The portal that they went through, it broke. We haven't been able to fix it. Oh, sorry. She doesn't say we. She says that the people here have not been able to fix it.
So do you think we found this Lokar? He might be a lead.
Possibly. But we'd be dealing with a madman.
But thankfully, we have a resident madman with us, so.
You act like we speak the same language. We do, but that's besides the point. It's racist.
Oof.
Do we know where this Lokar? You said that he comes back every once in a while. Is he here now, or do
No,
you know where he is?
It's rumored he went back to his home in Faerun 1, and for the last couple of years he has not left. He's apparently been busy there. At least he has not left to the Nexus. It's possible he found another route, as there are rumors he's visited one of the locations in Alaris and Alaris Prime, and another location in the people here used to call it, I believe, Alaris Beta, but the portals there are both shut down now.
Hmm.
All right.
It is possible you might be able to attract his attention back in Faerun, Faerun 1. Or you can, if you're trying to find Lokar, you might check out the Candalis portal in Alaris Prime.
Hmm. I think I can get people's attention. If that is what you all wish to do.
Get their attention. What do you mean?
Well, it's hard to ignore me.
Fair. Curious. These relatives that you said of Galen, do you know what they look like? Do they have any names?
Their names have been lost, unfortunately. It's unclear if they simply were forgotten or if they were somehow stripped away, but they were said to have been Aasimar.
Hmm.
Well, that would make sense with certain blocks that I have. The Celestial. So what do we? She kind of turns to the group. What do we do now? Do we go to Candalis, or do we go to Faerun?
Hmm. I mean, what would you think would be the best lead for us at the moment?
Rhiannon just kind of sighs. I can't make sense of all this, honestly. It seems like this is just too big of a knot for me to unravel. I don't know.
I was going to ask a question to his friend.
Do you need to be down in Whispers?
Sure, why not?
Alrighty then. Okay.
We use awakened mind so that way no one else can hear it. Friend, you've sensed auras of, James, my friends. I don't know how exactly you see the world.
Yes.
This other madman with Price, could I find him?
And you're referring to Lokar, correct?
Yeah.
What do you offer?
Hmm. Wow. He kind of thinks for a moment to himself. He's like, honestly, I'm not even sure this Lokar has the information we desire, so I don't know how much it's worth.
Make an offer. Make an offer.
Starts going through all of his books and whatnot. And he's like, you know, I was curious.
Yes.
When I fall, I eventually will go to whatever end I go to. This is whatever plane, I guess, I desire, I imagine.
Your question?
My end goal, of course, is to find this Galen. So my question is, what if I offered me in the end?
So GM question, are you offering yourself to the Watcher? To sacrifice yourself?
Basically, when he eventually falls, he will go wherever with the Watcher, basically. That is what he's offering.
And what was your expressed plan prior to to this, than to go with the Watcher?
I imagine Gamma will probably just go wherever knowledge would go, basically. So I imagine it would end up being the knowledge plan originally.
All right, so yeah, you're talking. You're offering to to be sucked into the to basically secrets or whatever that this Watcher belongs to.
Yep.
Okay, the Watcher finally responds with, "This is acceptable." You almost feel like something's licking across you, but it's not like physical licking. It's almost like, licking across your soul would be the best way to put it.
He smiles. Very well.
And the Watcher conveys to you that while Lokar is hidden from traditional sight, that gathering. Sorry. Some of my words are dropping on me again. I can't. Trying to find the right word, and I'm going to use something similar that's not quite right. So bear with me.
Mhm.
So, gathering the knowledge about certain things that Lokar has, like certain sections of his very special, very deep dungeon, are completely shielded from any sort of outside view. And the fact that he has not been seen, last time he was seen, he was seemingly heading that way, and he has not been located on any other plane of existence since then. It holds that he is most likely still down there.
And you're referring to the underneath the yawning portal?
Yeah, deep underneath the yawning portal, yes. In the dungeon of the Mad Mage. Because, he's the Mad Mage, so he's
Thank you.
deep in his dungeon.
And he'll. That's it.
Alright.
Yeah, and Will can swap out his spells anyway, right? Because he's a druid.
Now we should go to
If that's the
Faerun,
problem.
Gamel speaks up suddenly.
then. We should go to Faerun.
Aren't we in Faerun already?
We're in the
No.
Nexus.
Okay, so we're going back to where we came from, right?
Yes, specifically. Well,
Why?
Yeah,
Where they
specifically
only-
where?
Why?
Oh, the Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
that is where he is somewhere. At least.
Let's go.
To what I
Yeah,
can
sure,
tell.
let's go.
That was
Sounds like a plan.
that
Sounds
was
like
that was the plan we made before you came back.
Yeah, we kind of already had the plan to go back.
We were like, what are we gonna do? Mad Mage, sure. That seems like the safest option.
Yeah, we're kind of a bit ahead of you there.
Alright, so Will holds out the orb and goes, yeah, let's go back to the lowest level of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Will, the orb actually vanished the moment you guys got here.
Oh shit.
I think
Oh.
we
We
know
might
how
want
we
to
came in.
secure. We could
Hey
probably.
guys.
We might want to try and secure a way back here before we leave here.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
this place was shit. It's not
You
going
never
well.
know.
I'm
We
just
need,
kidding.
yeah.
Let's just find.
Will's
Let's just.
opinion.
Do we still have Thorn coins?
Phaedra holds up. I got one.
Yeah, my holds up one.
Okay.
I think I asked for one but didn't get one.
Relthar, at this point, you actually find one in your pocket. You have no idea how it got there. It's just there.
There we go
Guys,
again.
I have a coin!
Will
One
wanted
and
one
a-
too.
And if Will wanted one, Will also finds he has one in his pocket.
Will runs out into the street and throws it down the drain.
Yes.
Wanted to throw it.
No, I need to know.
Will, you find it in your
Fair.
pocket. You find it in your pocket again.
I am waiting for my group, and meanwhile I'm tossing it down the drain indefinitely.
Yeah, it just keeps reappearing in your pocket. And you're throwing
I'm
it down.
doing trick shots.
At this point, Strun is like looking over at you guys, and it's like, "What exactly are you doing?"
We don't even know.
We're going to the yawning portal to get drunk
Well,
and kill some things, I presume.
Ralthor is getting happy. He had drunk. He hasn't had a drink for a while.
I'm gonna ask the person at table. So, how do we get back to Waterdeep?
Well, I can give you.
Or Waterdeep, to be specific.
I'll take you to the portal zone. You should be able to use my access to get there. And she gets up from the table. Gamma and Rack and the wood elf that you weren't exactly introduced to, but you heard whose name is Sunfire. All stand up as well.
Oh wait, I'm not muted.
He does that a lot. So,
Whenever I hear something, I sometimes whisper it whenever I'm muted.
but it's cool. Do it. Sorry. Anyway, is there anything else you guys wish to explore or do in the Nexus at this time before you are returned to the portal area?
I mean, do they have
know.
new flavors of ice cream or something?
Roll a perception check.
Cool.
I want to look as well.
Rhiannon's gonna try to see if the portal area, if she can try to get another one of those orbs to take them back to the Nexus if they need.
Who will you attempt to ask?
Gwyneth,
Roll a perception check.
Phaedra will help Rhiannon.
Beast is gonna look for a weapons store.
Yeah, you do not see the Blackbird Tabaxi anywhere. You don't even see the kobold that guided you over here. Phaedra, all you see is, places to eat and the occasional clothing store.
Oh, we're not doing
Is there
too well
anywhere?
in Rost.
Gamma's looking for something. Is there anywhere that sells scrolls? Spell scrolls, precise.
Roll a perception check.
Beast is looking for a weapons shop.
Jesus
Beast.
Christ.
That's right. Beast is the one looking for the weapon shop. Sorry. All right. So Beast will notice something a bit with the way away from the party. Meanwhile, Gamil notices a what looks like a scroll shop in the opposite direction. So who wants to go with Beast? Who wants to go to Gamil? And who's just going to stay in the middle?
Where did
might-
the beast go?
Beast is going to a weapon shop.
Gamble, you have no idea where he's going.
Yeah,
He's just gonna go back.
I'm going with beast. Hey, beast.
Bob, for some reason, follows after you.
Oh, I got a Compaches.
Oh god.
Gary and Avery follow Bob. Aki follows Rhiannon.
Oh, good.
I don't know why he's following me.
What's wrong with it?
Anyway. So Gamil and Beast both make a 1d20 roll. Alright. Gamil, we're going to start with you then. You got the higher number. Gamil, you head off to the street and you discover what looks like a scroll and paper store. Bob kind of perks up and he pulls down his hood a bit. Aggie follows after Rhiannon. Inside, you find a kobold behind the counter, dressed in robes, kind of going over things with a quill and writing stuff down. They've even got a pair of little wireframe glasses perched on the top of their nose, kind of like staring down at it at various spell scrolls. Kind of looks up. Hello there! What can I do for you folks today?
Great. I'm looking for a certain spell scroll.
Well, I've managed to collect a bunch of them here. Tell me what you need, and I'll try to find it for you.
He will use Awaken Mind, and I'm going to whisper what he does.
Okay. Bob, meanwhile, is looking a little happy and is starting to look around at the blank pieces of paper of various types.
Rhiannon's kind of doing the same and kind of fiddling with like a scroll that's on the shelf or something, and just kind of looking lost.
Aki moves close to her, that not in touching distance, because she said that she didn't really want that. So, and asks, "Are you all right, Rhiannon? Is there anything I can do?"
No, just remembering.
He nods a bit and looks around.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, both. So the kobold kind of nods and nods. Well, as long as you don't try to use it in here, I definitely have a few of those.
How much?
Are you just looking for a normal one, or are you trying to, well, mass everything?
A single target.
Alrighty then. Let's see then. He kind of moves over towards a little ledger and starts poking around at it. Well, this scroll will cost you... not that much. That's good. It's on the cheaper end. This one's, well, not a lot of people want this, so I can give it to you cheaply. It's only gonna run you 180 gold, friend. And then he pauses for a moment. I have 4 of them. But I take it you don't have local currency? I guess I can take it in normal gold as long as you have that.
I do have gold.
Good. You're gonna be staying long in the Nexus. You might want to invest in an exchange at the bank. But since, I occasionally get some travelers like yourselves, I can make an exception. So,
He'll put down 720 gold for all 4.
Well, thank you much. And he hands you a bundle of 4 spell scrolls after a few minutes of searching them out.
All right.
Meanwhile, Beast.
Mm-hmm.
You happen upon a shop. Inside is a kind of what you may consider a middle-aged, dark green, kind of gray-cast-skinned, hairless goblin. Sitting behind a desk. They appear to be missing most of their teeth and have them replaced with little metal numbers. They're just kind of scowling a bit as you come in. They're also missing an eye with a lot of scar damage down the right side of their face. You don't look like you've been in the Nexus long.
I haven't, and I just threw down a bunch of weapons on the counter. I'm looking to sell some stuff.
Well, you've only got local Nexus currency. You might not be able to use it whenever you're going.
Yeah, that's why I'm wanna peruse a bit after I sell some stuff.
Do you want to consider just a straight trade?
Oh, that would be interesting. Sure.
All right.
What? How
starts-
about I tell you what I?
Okay, go ahead.
How about I'll show you what I got, and you can tell me what I can get.
All right. Well, I got a lot of special things. Things you probably can't find outside the Nexus.
Yeah. So I got 1 mole +1, and I just plop it on the table. I got 1 great axe +1. I got just a normal maul, normal hand axe for javelins. I have a needle that never bent, but I don't think he's interested in that. I have another hand axe, basically, and I mean, is he interested in a rug? No, I already used that rug. Forget it. He has interesting teeth, right?
Yeah, he's missing most of his teeth. A lot of them seem to be replaced with metal.
My friend, I have something that might interest you, and I'm gonna go into my side pouch, and when I'm do that, Quincy's gonna sit down like a good dog, but I'm gonna ignore him. I'm gonna go and I'll drop it on the table. And I'm like, this is a bag full of real teeth. If you were looking to replace those
I
fake ones.
kind of got used to these, and he kind of grins and chops his jaws a bit. You watched old James Bond movies?
No, because I'm young.
There's one henchman in
Oh,
2 of the
yeah.
movies named Jaws that has a bunch of metal sharp teeth. This goblin, it isn't quite to that level, but some of the replacement teeth that he has is definitely like that, like sharp and pointy, and that in some sections. In other places, it's blocky.
Yeah. Why does Farron have my pimp hat? I want to give it to this guy. Why did I give my pimp hat away?
Decisions were made.
Yeah, wrong
Good
decisions.
were made.
Yeah, you
So,
never know when you're gonna need it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have some soaked human bones, but I don't think he likes those either.
You don't know what he likes. You don't know him.
Yeah, sure. I have some soggy old bones that we found in the underwater thing we did like a few weeks ago. Out of game. And
I know where you got them. Trust me. In game, it's been a week. Hello?
Hello.
oh yeah, I was just looking at some.
Sorry, I thought that voice had completely dropped at that point.
I got a pair of bone knuckle plummets.
So, what kind of weapons are you interested in?
I don't know, something big and heavy that can kill a lot of things. That's basically the gist. I don't know, what kind
you
of
look-
weird things do you have?
You look like you got weapons like that already.
Yeah, I got something for really big
maybe-
things, but I have nothing for
maybe
like
you
a bunch
need
of small ones.
Maybe you need something that you can throw at your enemies, and as long as you're far enough away, you see them die, you don't die.
Yeah, it could be interesting. What do you have?
Ooh, I got something really special, but you got to be careful with it. And he kind of holds up a hand. He goes. He turns around. Like jumps down off a stool that he was apparently sitting on, and goes towards a box. He picks out the box carefully and brings it over to the table. He opens up two sides to show off the contents, and there looks like these little metal eggs are nestled inside. Now, don't touch these. These are very special. They're very dangerous. And each of the little metal eggs appears to have some kind of ring at the top.
Oh god. This is fine.
What are these?
Grenades?
No, there's something way better than grenades. So, what do these things do, and how do I call them?
Well, you hold one in the hand. You look where you want to throw them, as long as it's far enough away from you. I would suggest getting more than 60 feet away.
You make sure to count to 5. 3, I mean, 3.
You pull out the tab at the top of it. You never want to hold them by that tab. They can fall out. You pull that tab out, you throw it immediately, and then you just watch the fireworks light up, and your enemies die in front of you. Do you know what an explosion is, my friend?
I mean,
It's
I
a fucking grenade!
I love
I mean,
that clause.
Out of character, yes. We know it's a grenade. In character.
I mean, do you mean in the bathroom? Like, I don't want that. That sounds disgusting.
No.
Explosions.
Imagine you had your own fireball that you could launch at things, but that could hurt you if you were close enough. This causes a mini fireball, but it also throws little metal shards everywhere, and it can cause massive amounts of damage.
What if I strap them on a mole and slap someone in the
You'd be
face with
too
it?
close to that. The fireball would catch you too, and you'd get shrapnel all over the place. It could go into your eyes, and no matter how strong you are, my friend, that can still hurt. That can still kill you.
Yeah, hurt. How many?
Are those things magical?
Nope. Completely chemical.
Chemical warfare, way!
Okay. So how many are you willing to part with?
That's a good question, my friend. He kind of peruses through what you have there, and then looks down at what he has in terms of the little metal orbs.
What if I let you pet Quincy? with that increase ratio? And I throw 2 at Quincy, and Quincy needs to act cute. Can Quincy make a performance check?
Sure,
To look
Quincy can
cute.
make a performance check.
Come on! Yeah. It's a
Typical
giant
cat.
abomination. It's pretty good for an abomination.
Well, for this mall you have right here, I can give you 6 of these lovely little things.
Just for the mall?
Just for the mall.
Oh. This is gonna... Oh god.
Good lord.
You left
and,
bees unsupervised in a very technically sophisticated area.
I mean,
Of course, you're just gonna find a
He's
grenade.
unsupervised.
Look, I'm not unsupervised,
He's
but
got
like,
Malthor and Will. He's unsupervised.
yeah,
I'm
true.
not gonna tell what Beast can't buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can have magic nades if he wants.
They're not magical though.
Chemical nades.
Okay,
This is
so
fine. It's okay.
do you have any other toys, or can I just stack on? So I also have this nice great axe that slices and dices pretty good. It's not as good as my good old friend on my back, but that's I need to say that for a special occasion. So
Well, what else do you wish to offer?
I have a +1 great axe. That is pretty nifty. Unless that was included, but you said it was just small, so I think it's not.
Well, I do have some more of these lovely explosives I could sell, but you have to give me some more offers.
Are you are not interested in magic, are you? Don't you want to? I mean, don't you want to, try it out a bit? I have like a beginner's guide to magic.
Oh, no. See, I have no interest in magic. I just like to sell stuff. Weapons, especially ones that we can make ourselves.
Okay. What else do I have? Let's see. Do I have anything else interesting? I don't have my pump anymore. There's no. I mean, I do have this ring, but I don't think you can offer me something that would be worth its value.
What kind of ring?
A ring that prevents the people from painting one's minds. Panic. Weird psychotic damage thingies.
Like I said, I'm not that interested in magic. You might want to go to to one of the kobold scholars. They love that magic stuff.
Yeah. How about just swapping it for cash then, the great axe? I need to peruse a bit around. Maybe there's somewhere else with some interesting doohickeys.
Alright, let's see here. Great axe. This guy looks over at it and starts perusing it. Like I said, I can only offer you local money.
That's fine. I'm probably gonna spend it all today, but
Basically, this means that you'd have to put it in a separate location in your character sheet.
That's fine. I mean, I have Electrum. I never use Electrum. I don't think we ever have.
Yeah. So I can offer you 56 gold for that maul. Or axe, sorry, the axe, because you already traded the maul.
56 gold, but I have gold. Don't you mean?
It's when he says gold.
Nexus money.
Yes, when he says gold, he picks up a golden coin. It has the picture of a lotus on one side and the picture of what looks like a wolf on the other. It does not look anything like the coin, the gold coins that you're used to back home.
Okay.
Very special printing.
Yeah. Then I want to look for like a. Now I want to go where Gamel is because I want to talk to the dude of the shop. Because I have a spell book that I've been carrying around for so many sessions now. I'm gonna sell it.
Well, you have no idea what Galman was looking for, so.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna look for someone who either like wants
the kobold
books or like
the kobold
something
waves as
like-
you leave.
Does this kobold sell only weapons?
Sorry, the goblin waves as you leave.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this goblin seems to be selling only weapons.
Hello?
I'm here.
No.
Okay.
You dropped, Grizz.
Oh, I'm sorry. The goblin only sells weapons, yes.
Okay. Interested.
So, both Beast and Gamma finished their purchases. Anyone else?
Do I see any place that looks like it would sell armor
Yeah, I was looking for armor as well.
for me and Ralph?
Let's see, Will and Ralph.
Light armor.
Yeah,
For me.
new perception checks for you guys, please.
Come on, Ralph, you and me.
Ah!
Ah, yes. Tucked away between two of the clothing shops, easily, at first not distinguishable from the clothing shops, is what appears to be Ye Old Armor Shop.
Alright, I'm gonna stop Ralph outside. Ralph, how much money do you have?
I currently have 216 gold on.
Yeah, that's not gonna be enough, I don't think. Have you ever heard of a 5-finger discount?
What?
Oh dear God.
Alright. You stay here and stay on watch. I will get both of us a piece of armor.
Oh no!
I just left two people unsupervised.
Yeah.
We should be worried about Will and Ralph instead of Quentin.
Yeah, you guys followed Galmil to keep him out of trouble. Nobody bothered to follow Beast to keep him out of trouble because Valthor drove with him, and Will and Valthor are now causing trouble.
Beast doesn't do shady shit. He just beats people up.
Will roll a a stealth check, please.
Oh, I'm putting my cloak of invisibility on.
Nice.
And yeah, sure, I can roll as stealth if you want as well, with pass without a trace.
Oh, all stealth as well.
Well, plus 10 to you as well then, but you're supposed to stay outside.
I should be.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I will be, but
So I'm
if somebody comes up to me in
26.
the doorway.
Yeah.
And
So-
Ralph is of 31.
The door opens and you hear a voice call, "Hello, who's there? I don't see anybody."
Do I see him?
Uh-oh. It's him, her, you really can't tell. There's a tiefling standing behind the counter, indeterminate gender, wearing very loose-fitting clothes, very green skin with wild-looking horns. And they're just kind of
were they looking at the door as I walked towards this? Because I don't think I would have just gone and opened the door invisible.
I thought you said you did. Because you were doing this
I said
outside the
Ralph
door.
was waiting outside.
Yeah, I'll be waiting outside.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I didn't know what the situation was there. I wasn't just gonna turn invisible in front of someone and then walk in the door.
No. That's what the point. The door. You opened and closed the door.
Yeah,
It's, the door makes noise when it opens and closes. There is a cowbell over it. It rang when you opened the door.
Yes, but I never said I entered.
If you open the door, they're going to be looking around, going, "Hello."
I never said I opened the door.
I thought you did. I'm sorry. I thought you said you were going in.
I never did. I told Ralph to wait outside while I get the 5-finger discount. I'm sorry, but no, I didn't open the door. I was gonna wait for someone else to walk in.
Ah. I thought when you were saying that to Valthor, you were standing there You were standing there, just opening the door. I got confused.
Yeah, no, I'm just not gonna open a door when I'm invisible. That's just, bringing out trouble.
All right.
You just gotta wait for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. 5 minutes go by. Nobody's there. At this point, Beast has finished his purchases and sees that Will and Ralph are no longer with him. Let's see. Another 5 minutes go by. Still, nobody shows up on the side of the street. You see some people going into the clothing store one of the clothing stores next door, but nobody seems to be paying much attention to the armor shop so far. At this point, Galmill and company are done with their purchases as well.
I'm gonna whisper to Ralphor. Make it seem like they have a sale.
Ralph will go up to a random stranger and say that the store right here has a massive sale going on. You cannot. Perception. Right?
Sure. The person you wander up to, startles and shrieks, "Ah! A Nexus ghost!" and starts running down the street. And you hear people yelling, "Ghost! Another ghost sighting! No, it's been years! I thought this area was safe!"
I disappear.
No, you were already stealthed.
Do I hear this commotion?
I get up to Ralphor going, just roll with it. Make this shopkeeper go to get out.
Galmill, make a perception check as you're walking back with your purchases. Nope, everything seems calm to you.
This is fine.
This is fine.
Channel your inner ghost.
Kind of raise the spirits.
Hey!
God.
But go into the store, else they'll keep haunting. Still not the 10.
So, what do you wish to do about this, guys? Will and Melthor.
Is that a window?
There is a window. There is a set of armor standing in front of it.
Well, window.
What?
There's a window.
What? Yes, it's glass. I can't.
Shit.
Glass, my one weakness.
Ralph, you don't sneak. Walk in the door. Arouse the wares. I'm walking with you. Don't
Okay,
buy
Ratha will drop the stealth and then walk into the store.
And I
Right. The cab bell over the store jingles, and the tiefling individual behind the counter, green-skinned, weird-looking horns, indeterminate gender, looks up and around and spots Ralthor and kind of nods. Hello, welcome. It's been a while since I've had any customers here. Welcome to Ye Olde Armor Shop. Are you new in town?
It's my first time here. Yeah. My first time. Just having a little look around.
All right. Well, what can I interest you in?
I'm interested in items. Wink, wink.
The green tiefling chuckles a bit. It kind of folds its arms. Well, you're gonna have to say something more than that. What kind of items?
I'm looking for items I can see. Wink, wink.
Well, there's all sorts of things you can see around here. The tiefling in front of you looks very perturbed.
Okay, could Will, like, this is gonna
In fact, they're beginning to frown and look around a bit.
I was going to use this as a ritual, but that would take too much time, and I don't think Ralph can last that long. So instead, I'll just rely on my invisibility and my stealthy boots to stay hidden. I'll stay still, and I will cast Detect Magic and see if there's any magical armor around us, light armor.
Yes, I am saying
Light
wink,
armor.
wink.
Yeah, the tiefling does not. The tiefling behind the counter does not look amused, and just kind of like lets out a long
fine.
explosion of breath, which kind of blows back a bit of their hair as they are staring at you, but their eyes are somewhat narrowed. It's like, look, sir, if you're not going to buy anything, I would please ask you to leave. And as I'm explaining, okay, let's see, what items do we have here? Several pieces start lighting up with magic. A set of, let's see. A set of, what looks like metallic armor with some bits of furred fringe on it.
No metal for me, but as long as it's light armor for Ralph, that's what I'm gonna go for. We're looking around, being picky.
Let's see. There is a shield that catches your eye. There's a set,
Nope.
a set of leather armor that appears to be glowing with magic, and another set of what looks like some kind of chainmail. You see a pair of slippers with a spiderweb design on them that's glowing with magic.
Okay. The first armor with like metal and like a fur fringe on it, you said?
Yep.
Um,
Roll a 1d10 for me.
okay.
Yeah, it's light blue in color. But the armor itself it has like really light blue accents to it. It's mostly black, but the light blue accents. Meanwhile, you hear the tiefling individual behind the counter, like basically telling Ralthor he should be leaving.
Okay. Listen.
Looks like you only
What
have
I'm
time
really
to grab
here for-
one thing.
What I'm really here for is some sort of bat armor for my little pet here.
Roll a persuasion check, please.
Holy
Ralthor.
shit, really? That's what you went with? Okay. What?
The tiefling is looking at the bat and seem to have been a little bit charmed by it, but they look back at Ralthor and just kind of narrow. A bat like that really can't use armor. It's too small. It will impede its ability to fly.
Alright.
Damn it.
I'm waiting for her to get distracted, and then I'm gonna, like, grab the... But
Well,
I'm
they're
waiting for her.
as distracted as they can be talking to Ralthor right now.
Yeah,
Do you
not
wanna
now.
pat my bat? Do you wanna give it scratches?
No, the tiefling replies, their eyes narrowed further.
See.
Will is like inches away from this leather armor, just looking at this lady, like, just look away.
They're not looking at you, Will. They're even in your direction. They're looking
Yeah,
at
but
Ralthor.
I don't want to be caught in the peripheral or something.
Well, as I said, they're as distracted as so far Ralthor can make them be because of
Alright.
Ralthor's things. They're inches away from getting Ralthor to leave.
I will grab this leather armor, and it should turn invisible with me.
Okay, so that's a sleight of hand check at advantage.
Oh well.
Oh
I
boy.
am so hoping.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, thank God, the advantage.
They are the process of telling Ralthor to get out of here when Will carefully takes the armor down and it immediately turns invisible as soon as he grabs it.
And I walk towards. I will walk towards the door and just stand by the door and wait for Ralphor to open the door and walk out. Like, I'm just waiting for this conversation to end.
Ralph will say, "Well, thank you for everything. It's been a great honor meeting you, and maybe you should get some friends to talk about your shop."
The tiefling
Because
person snorts and points towards the door. Out.
okay, Ralph walks out.
Ralthor will both make dexterity saving throws.
Oh shit.
With.
Will advantage, Valthor gets disadvantage.
Oh, sorry, Ralph.
Disadvantage? Wait, what? Shit.
Okay, Will manages to get out of the way before Valthor can accidentally run into him. Because Valthor has no idea where he is. The door opens, Will manages to scramble out behind him. Valthor has no idea Will's there.
I know, right? I think that's the same thing as mine, right? Floors.
So-
Yep, it's the same thing.
Yes, awesome. I'm gonna start. Will is practically Rocket. In fact, he grows trees, so yeah, he's Rocket.
Okay, when we get away from, like, I'm following Ralph. I'm following where he's going, but the moment we're out of eye shot and earshot.
We're practically halfway of going back to the original area where we left Shiori and Phaedra.
Okay, so I take the hood off, and I kind of look at you, and I go, if anyone asks, you bought this. So you got a discount. Because the tiefling liked you. Got
People
it?
are gonna ask.
You got it, Ralph?
He nods in agreement.
Right.
Thank you for doing this.
We might want to. Oh shit! I don't know what this is. How to explain that? Didn't think this one through. I go. You know what? Yes. Hold on. I have a great idea. Here, grab it.
He grabs it.
And I'll turn invisible again and run away.
It's your problem now.
Ralph will just put it in his backpack, I guess. For now. He won't mention it. Nothing ever happened.
Sure.
And that is how Ralph finally got a better armor.
We hope.
And that is why Will is a much better thief than Heinz ever was.
Yep, because he can turn himself completely fucking invisible.
That makes
God
no
damn
sound while walking.
God damn lucky rolls on those equipment finds. I still can't believe you managed to get both items that make you undetectable.
I just need an amulet of non-detection. He'll be just gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs some soap, maybe.
Yeah.
That too.
Well, yeah. So we rejoined the group. Nothing happened.
We saw a couple of birds.
Yes, birds.
Chase them.
I
No,
just
we didn't.
sort of stares.
Birds?
Why?
I look up.
You haven't yet to see any birds here.
You know what? I'm still invisible. I'm just gonna stand.
Birds? Yeah, okay. Okay, you're chasing birds.
Hey guys, what you been up to?
Shit.
Roll deception, guys. Roll deception.
Hey, well, wait, what? What are we doing? Did Ralph doing something
We were
wrong?
chasing
Ah,
birds.
Oh!
Oh,
That should be a disadvantage. There's no birds anywhere.
You don't know what Ralthor saw and calls a bird?
that's a scale wheel. Nope. He's not paying
You
attention. Look at all those nat ones, though.
yeah.
That's that coming back from all those 20s.
Yeah.
Here in one roll.
Yes, I'm glad we used them here.
Yes.
Oh, birds. Cool. I haven't seen any.
Precisely,
Okay.
it's why I chased it.
Oh, okay.
It was walking on two legs. It had feathers. So.
Well, most birds.
And just at that, and just at that moment, a Kenku comes around the.
Right.
Oh look, there's another one.
Okay. Can we get while?
Will is just standing there smiling, just he looks at Malfoy.
And as it passes by, you hear it say in a voice that Ralthor actually heard, "Ah, ghosts are back."
What? Ghosts?
What? You know what?
I know one ghost.
We should just keep moving. We've been waiting here for you guys for a while now.
Yeah, we should get out of here.
Wow. Okay. Let's go.
Let's get out.
Oh, Beast wants to the scroll shop very quick. He wants to have a scroll of enlarger juice.
I couldn't hear a word you said.
Beast was gonna go to the scroll shop and try to get a scroll of enlarger juice. The spell.
Enlarge your juice? I've never heard of that. You mean enlarge?
Or reduce.
Oh, enlarge slash reduce. I thought you said enlarge your juice.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm having trouble hearing.
Yes, it's both. You return to nothing happens. You stay normal. Yes, I cast enlarge and reduce. Really? Nothing happened. Yes.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
All right. So the shopkeeper, the kobold, says, "All right, that is." $121 gold, please.
How about 56 and a whole spell book?
Oh. Can I see the spell book?
Sure. I give him the spell book that we got from the orc when we were fighting the Illithid thing, like way back when he started.
I know which one you were talking about. No worries. Ah, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll do that deal. 56 plus this. Yep. Here you go. Here's a scroll. Enlarge or reduce. Here you go.
Thanks.
So at this point, you come back to the rest of the group just as that Kenku walked by with the yell of, "Ah! Ghosts have returned to the Nexus!"
I'm done with this. Let's go home.
Yes.
Vader just walks.
But I want to chase the bird.
Then go chase the birds. I'm going home.
Come on, Ralph.
Scary mama vibes.
Alright, so, Strun is actually the one that helps you navigate back to the portal area. And she takes you over to one of the portals, one of the gates where the kobolds are standing there, and kind of, pulls out something from her pocket and shows it off to the kobolds standing guard at attention, saying, "I have authorization to allow these people access." And they kind of nod, and they look at each other and seem to be touching some things on the side of the gate. Strun then turns to you guys and says, "Which of you takes command of your party? Who is in charge?"
No one.
Points of
I
Phaedra.
look at Phaedra.
With all the people pointing and looking at Phaedra, Strun steps in front of Phaedra. "Alright." And she produces something from her pocket. From a pocket and offers it to you. If you tap tap the buttons, she says, on this thing. It should be able to get you in touch with me. I'll be able to talk to you through it. It works similar to a sending stone, but I will also be able to know your location and come to you if you feel you need help, or just need transportation somewhere else. It's a really weird kind of boxy thing with a couple of kind of looks like crystals embedded into it. Plus, there are the two buttons she was referring to, that Tron was referring to. It says just hold them down and speak my name.
Thank you very much. I guess we'll head back now. Yeah. I guess we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Sure gives a bow.
Fader will nod her head.
So that the gate in front of you shimmers and comes to life, and you just see swirling colors for a moment, and then it clears out. Give me 1 minute to decide exactly where the other end of this gate comes in. And Shren says, "Do be careful. Unfortunately, there is no. You won't. Once you go through there, you won't be able to come back out this way. Not without proper clearance. This particular portal has some restrictions."
Okay. Restrictions?
Because it's in a potentially. There are people that can get on the other side and might find it who would be considered hostile to the Nexus individually. So we kind of keep it under lock and key.
Aren't we going back to like our normal plane?
Yes.
Dimension thingy? Okay.
Okay, that is definitely the most perfect spot to put it. So you're kind of like looking through it into a very dark room from the looks of it, as the swirling color clears, and you can see what looks like another arch almost across from almost across from it, and you can kind of like see it when you're looking through it. What looks like another stone archway, although that one you see a frame with engraved images of falling coins. It just appears to be flush into the wall. You don't know if this one is too from you're looking at, because you're looking at it the other way, but you don't see much of anything else from what you're looking at from here.
Let me go in first, just to make sure everything's okay. Fader will step through.
All right. You find yourself in a dark room. It could fit all of you. It looks to be kind of dusty. And as you're looking around, you see passageway to the south. It looks like the other archway that you're looking at is on the north wall, and this one in particular is over on the east wall.
Can she look back and see everybody behind her?
You just see swirling color on your side. You do also see images around the archway, like, I saw the coins on the other one. Arch images of what looks like to you shadows.
Shadows. I mean, can she do it? It's carved in, so stone cutting. Can she do an intelligence check to figure out what that would mean?
Sure. Though you don't know for certain. You've got this feeling that either the gate can activate on this side with an application of shadows of somehow, or that it's meant to convey that this leads to the Shadowfell, since you were told that the Nexus is kind of in the Shadowfell.
All right. Well, she'll stand and wait for the group.
Seeing that, Shiori's gonna walk through.
Ralph will yell out into the portal, "Is everything okay?"
Biddy and
You
Varen
see,
will
you see,
walk into it.
you see Phaedra kind of staring back at you, but she doesn't respond.
I don't think she can hear us.
Will walk through.
I push Ralph through his Gamma.
Just fucking screams and falls on her face.
Come on, Ralph, up you go.
I'm not.
Okay.
Gamma steps through, just laughing.
I am just going to gather up your tokens and place them down on the map. So if you stop moving them, I will be able to do that.
Sorry, I'm just kind of uneasy
No worries.
about how my token is like over the borders and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how that feels.
Larger than everyone else.
What?
Yeah, Ralph's token is a little bit larger than anyone else.
Oh, I'll fix that.
Ever so
Get it
slightly.
then.
He's got
He's
that
larger
golden
than
hair.
life.
It's because of that enlarge reduce spell that didn't work.
It enlarged him one way and reduced him the other way. So now he's wider.
Are you calling me fat?
No, I'm just saying you're
No.
now going down short and widened. And literally stretched.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm,
Yeah, we're going to
I'm fixing everyone's token, so give me a second. This map, for some
no
reason,
problem.
has different dimensions than normal, so...
That's because we're in a different dimension.
No, you're back. Well, you're back in the correct dimension that you're supposed to be in.
Shouldn't you
A
wait
different
till
dimension
we're
than
back?
what we were in before. So technically, that's still the right
Oh,
statement.
so this dimension is a little bit wider.
Uh,
Slightly to the left.
Yeah, so just please bear with me a minute.
I can go toe to toe with the giants.
I can go do. What did you into?
Gonna beat them in the face. Cause I can reach it now.
Depends on the giant.
I mean,
Alright.
yeah, but it's fair.
And can you see? Can you guys see everything?
No.
No,
Yes.
it's all black.
Oh, wait.
It might be because none
Oh.
of you have a light
Hello.
source, or maybe I haven't
Oh.
fixed your tokens.
We're over here.
I think
there you
it's
go, I
light
see it now.
source.
Hold on.
Hey, look, Will is huge.
No, it's because you've got some tiny friends, and I decided it was easier just to leave you that size. So, who said they can't? Whose character cannot see?
I can see now.
I can see now.
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay.
Just took a
Where
bit.
are we?
You don't know. What would you guys like to do? The portal, as soon as the last of you guys step through, the colors stop on the archway behind you, along the eastern wall. And so there's
Interesting.
another archway to the north with a depiction of falling coins.
Larger than Rhiannon.
I wonder where we are.
I wonder too.
What does the wall look to be made out of?
Stone.
Hmm.
You also notice there are tiny slots in the northern arch. The keystone has a tiny slot in it.
Uh-oh. Baron's disappeared. And so is Phaedra.
They've walked down south, where they found what appears to be a seamless wall of some kind.
Oh,
Possibly some kind
sure.
of hidden
I
door.
can see.
I'm gonna put a coin
Sure.
into the slot.
Give me 1 second to fix Shiori's vision, and then I will tell you what happens.
I kill everyone. Biddy, do you really want to come stand here while I'm fucking with this wall?
I mean,
Okay, the coin vanishes, and suddenly the gate to the north opens up.
oh. What's on the other side?
Death.
Yep, and this is how we all died.
It's just a big old lava flow.
You don't know, it's just swirling colors.
I think that goes back to a different plane. Be my guest, though.
I want to get out of here.
Why are we?
That was a wasted coin.
Where is this place?
A room with walls.
Oh no shit.
Well, I'm just saying exactly what everyone else knows, because that's all we know.
Well, tell me something I don't know.
They're just gonna look around and just kind of just check out the room to see if there's anything.
Vaughn has his memories back.
What?
Fawn has his memories back, by the way.
Fast.
He said to tell you something you don't know.
After a minute of nobody doing anything, the gate, the archway to the north, just suddenly just turns back into stone.
Sure, just gonna kind of investigate the walls here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll to investigate.
We're just gonna do the exact same thing, just to see if there's any way through.
Yeah. Alright. Which wall should I blow up?
I mean, Beast has those magic.
Quincy, Quincy, find the door. Quincy is gonna see if he can smell where people run into a wall.
Roll perception.
I think he has advantage. No, he doesn't. Very good.
Quincy practically knocks Varen over and starts scratching at the wall over here.
Is there anything special about her?
Quincy puts a paw directly on that wall. There's a little click, and the door slides open.
Well, that's no problem.
Aren't you a good displacer priest? Yes, you are.
Right. Now maybe we can find out where we are.
Hopefully.
Oh,
Very
why am I this big?
No, you're not. You're still a small little Will. It's just that it was just easier just to leave your token like that at the moment.
What happens if I pull out the new token? Will it be the same size?
Not necessarily. This map has odd features to it.
Should I try it?
I don't
Sure,
want two
staying right next
Wills.
to the page.
I can delete this one.
Will you, though? Careful.
Phaedra's got her axe and her shield out. And she's just
Shield and
walking.
sword.
Okay. Is this these walls, corridors, and such reminding Will of something?
Roll a history check. Nope. You've never been here before. You're certain of that.
Our friends have gone that way. Do we want to leave them alone? I don't think so.
Bob looks around.
I don't know.
Where's
We can
Rathor?
go.
Where's Alpha? Alpha?
Alpha, hurry up!
Alpha and Rhiannon.
Ha.
Does this place
Oh,
seem
wait, I'm
familiar?
muted.
Does this place seem familiar to Biddy?
And Phaedra.
Roll perception checks. I mean, sorry, history checks.
Yeah, sure. He's gonna.
Okay. Well, you're certain you've never been to this particular section. You know, just from the feel of this place, that you are back in the dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Well, that works.
Well, we're where we wanted to be.
Oh? I feel like it.
We're in the dungeon.
Ah.
What game else said he was?
Well, this works. We want to be here at least.
Wow.
Hey, to the people leading in the front, do you know where we're going?
Not a damn clue!
Got it, thanks. Just wanted to know.
So Phaedra walking through, she's got a 19 passive, so she's just aware
As you guys are walking through this area, you begin to hear the sound of music. This entire hallway is filled with it. It's just like slowly coming up and coming up and coming up. It sounds a bit like a harpsichord.
Game Master starts kind of tapping his foot and dancing a little bit as he goes.
Same.
I just have the NPCs kind of moved over there. You guys are still leading the way. And as you guys get into a chamber, you see a harpsichord in the middle of the room, except it is made entirely of bones. And it is
not touch that.
playing on its own.
Alright, let's go the other way, shall we?
No, but I want to play it.
No.
Oh wait, I'm not muted.
Nope. The loud nope.
Oh, Betty. You don't want another thing possessing.
As soon as you get close to it, Rhiannon, the music suddenly stops.
Oh shit.
Oh!
That's ominous. Did I go deaf for the music stop?
I think the music stopped, but he says from way in the back.
Yeah, it totally did.
Is anyone proficient in music?
Let's see. No.
And,
The
and
one time
proficient.
that you actually want fucking that guy with the ukulele thing.
Logan.
Yeah.
Like you could
The
have
only
used
time we-
Logan, you could have used Fawn. Neither of them came.
I was talking about Logan, but yeah, that guy that I don't even know who it is, you know?
This seems dangerous.
Rhiannon just sketches it in her journal.
All right.
And just for funsies, because it's been a while, she's going to command the imp to land on the keys.
The imp kind of looks up at her. Wait, didn't you turn the imp into a raven?
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually a raven now instead of an imp. You guys didn't really notice this before, but Rhiannon now seems to have a raven. Let me grab one for you.
Caw.
Can I blow up that musical instrument?
I don't know, just
What do you tell the raven to
trying
do?
something out. To walk across the keys.
All right. So, are you telling the raven to push the keys down or just to walk across them?
I mean, I would imagine that the weight of a raven would probably... I mean, it's not hard to push down a key.
Okay.
So I'd imagine
So
that...
it begins to push down. Roll a Constitution saving throw for the imp.
Going well so far.
It's one way of getting rid of him.
Oh,
Darn.
Yeah, it seemed to have some sort of effect, except that its constitution is too strong and nothing happened to it. It kind of like sits there. It kind of like turns around and looks at Rihanna and gah gah.
Okay. Well, that wasn't good, but I just wanted to check something. Okay, let's go.
Flutters its wings and then flutters back onto her shoulder.
Is there anything else in the room?
Nope, just the harpsichord.
I can cast Detect Magic as a ritual, but that will take some time.
I could cast Identify on it as well.
That would be better.
But that would require me touching it.
Go right ahead.
touchy touchy.
As long as I don't push the key. Fine.
Yes, I imagine too.
Oh well. You only live once.
And do you touch
He will-
the harpsichord?
Yep, he's not touching the keys, like, at all.
Alright. Which hand are you touching the harpsichord with?
Probably his left hand.
How long does it take to cast Identify with this way?
10 minutes.
Still takes 10 minutes? Okay. After 1 minute, you begin to feel a weird itching sensation. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
That's actually Gamel.
Okay. It feels like something is attempting to eat the flesh of of the hand that's touching the harpsichord.
Yeah, he's gonna pull the hand away. That feeling?
The hand looks fine, but it just felt like something was trying to just eat the flesh of your hand.
Good news.
Hmm.
I'm fine. Bad
Bad
news.
news.
It apparently tried to eat my hand.
Good to know.
Yeah, okay. Guys, how about, another way?
Yes, let's go backwards.
Yeah,
I like
no,
that way.
not this way.
Okay.
Fuck this
Either
thing.
way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phaedra.
Oh, you have finally done messing with the harp?
Oh yes, it tries to eat your hand. You should touch.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Looks like we got two directions, guys, Gary says. North and south.
Yeah, let's split up. You go south. We go north.
But then, let's see.
I mean, maybe we should split up. Everything goes well with.
You know,
Never
there's a
split the
problem with
party.
that.
Oh wait, I'm not muted.
That's gonna be your new catchphrase, Jesse. Oh wait, I'm not muted.
Yep. Or oh wait, I was muted. That happens.
Yeah, but we don't hear that too often.
Wow, this is
As you
interesting.
head down that corridor, you do smell a bit of rot and decay.
Smells like my birthday.
Hey,
Quincy.
Betty.
And as you get to the room, you discover what looks like some kind of camp. You see a place strewn with rotten supplies, the remains of a fire pit, and 3 corpses.
Ooh.
Sorry, 4 corpses. 3 of which are bugbears, and 1 of which Beast would recognize as the thing that attempted to eat his brain, laying on the pile.
So four pieces of meat for Quincy.
Well,
That's one of my.
the bugbears are probably still edible. The dead intellect devourer probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember those.
So you're just letting Beast. You're just letting Quincy just devour the bodies.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Can we just,
I mean,
at a
He's
glance,
not gonna-
see if they're carrying anything of importance?
Yeah, do they have
roll
anything
an investigation.
on them?
Roll an investigation check.
Yeah, Shira's gonna also do this.
Yeah, Baron's also gonna
Alright.
It would
check.
be a shame
Will,
if it's full of the only
just-
key or something.
Just as Quincy is starting in on the on one of the bodies, a scrap of parchment falls out of the pocket, and
I picked it up.
following phrase is written in common. As many as there are stars in the sky.
As many as there are stars in the sky.
Yes.
Wow. How romantic.
How romantic and frightening at the same time.
And there's, of course, a door right there.
Well,
Ralph will see if it's got a baby.
I toss the piece of paper over my shoulder and keep walking.
I get what is it? Advantage if for looking for traps.
Stay over here.
Roll
Perception,
investigation,
right?
yeah,
Investigation.
investigation.
Sure, he's also gonna look because he's not been the best at it at the past.
Yeah. You find no traps. The door
He
is
will
unlocked and
Open it
it's
slowly.
revealing a corridor.
Okay. Ta-da!
Well done, Ralph.
Gary pokes his head out, looks around, and goes, "Guys, all I see is the same corridor going up north. We're almost moving in circles here."
Oh, good. This
Oh, nice.
Oh, then there's only one direction we can go.
There's a door over here.
Yes, well, that's the direction that I was talking
I
about.
found it first.
Pew! His door dashes.
Fury, wanna make these Ralph's work just in case he makes the same mistake?
You don't trust
See
it?
if there's any traps. And advantage, it does not help.
Yeah. There doesn't appear to be any traps here, no.
Ralph will slowly open the door.
The door does not seem to budge.
I'm guessing it's locked.
It doesn't appear to be locked. It seems like something might be blocking it from the other side.
Beast, do something.
Beast.
Beast, do something.
Beast, we need your expertise.
Yes, we need the expertise in door knocking.
He saunters over and he looks around and is like, "Sure. What's the door made out of? I presume stone."
It appears to be made out of wood.
Oh, wood.
Ah,
I mean,
yes.
how much wood can a woodchuck chuck? This much.
Buzz.
You kind of slam your axe into it, and you bump into something metal on the other side. Let's see. Roll a 1d100 for me, Beast.
So this is why she was laughing.
Is
It wasn't because of the Overwatch reference, it's because she knew that they were...
Is it okay to move my token away from this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
The axe is fine, but you see that there's something metal holding it in place on the other side. You might want to attempt some other way of forcing it open other than crunching it with an axe.
Okay. You know, long way. I mean, I have a crowbar. Let's do an athletics check with advantage. Because crowbar. 20.
Nice.
Alright. You hear a screech on the other side as you push apart a barricade that seems to be holding it in place. And as you open the door, before you guys can move anything, I'll tell you what you see.
Oh, whoa, roll for initiative.
You see what at first looks like some kind of humanoid griffin, except it's clearly made out of like fabric of some kind, like some kind of weird life-size puppet, kind of standing in the middle of the room, hunched over a table. The table appears to be dusty and covered with various forms of alchemical equipment. And it looks like it's within a, going through. Sorry, it looks like it was in the middle of going through some sort of experimental trials. As you're staring in at it.
Seems friendly.
Do you wish to move?
No.
Should I do a nature check on it to see what it's supposed to look like?
Can
Sure.
I have my axe back?
Phaedra's going to be right at the door. She's going to activate.
Horse mode.
No, Eldritch Sight.
Oh, sorry. It sounded like that you were
He's gonna-
galloping.
Detect magic.
The puppet definitely has some kind of magic on it.
Anything else around the doorway as she steps in?
Nope. It just has some sort of magical field both on it and extending around for it, as if it's would get triggered by some kind of movement within a certain range.
She will relay this to the group. It's surrounded by some sort of a magical field that will probably be triggered by proximity.
So don't get close.
Yeah.
Or do. And deal with the consequence.
Fair. Can she see with her dark vision the door on the other
Yes,
side?
she can.
Can someone point at where...
Remember, if you can see it, she can see it.
Ralph, or point where you're standing. Oh.
What do you mean, point where I'm standing?
Tiny little Will.
I need to put...
Will's back to normal size. Will is back to normal size.
Should we try to be friendly with it? I don't know. I can.
You
I'll-
can
I can go
certainly
and-
try.
So you're just like, friendly what? I can't exactly see it from here.
Oh, it's a mannequin that looks like a thing.
Yeah, puppet of some kind.
Yeah, ignore the actual picture. It definitely looks more like a like some kind of pink and yellow griffin.
Hello?
No
She'll
response.
call into the room. She will take a step forward.
And Betty will follow.
And
Oh.
We both had the same idea of moving out of the way of each other.
Still silence.
Give him a walk.
As soon as you get within 20 feet, the puppet starts moving, mixing chemicals at a frantic pace, and yelling, "Ugh! Terrible and painful magical death! Fireballs and lightning bolts, be gone!" And it seems to be waving a hand at you as it continues to work.
We need me no harm. We're just passing through.
Just keeps mumbling something and occasionally squawking.
She's gonna walk this way.
Gil's just watching.
The puppet continues to mumble and occasionally yells dire threats, but doesn't move away from the table. It appears to
is
kind
it
of be
sitting
stuck
on a
there.
chair?
No, it's standing hunched over it, with taloned feet kind of clinging to the floor.
Is there a chair next to it?
No.
Oh.
This door with it has an easily removed barricade as you get to it.
Okay, everybody go through. And Fader will just
Squawk,
make sure
squawk,
everybody gets through the door. And then yeah, she'll be the last one through. She's just gonna
Alright.
watch this thing.
It just appears to be mixing chemicals. That's all it's doing.
Yep, and she's gonna wait until everybody's through the door.
Do the chemicals smell the same as the chemicals in my new toy belt?
Roll a perception check.
Oh, hi, Betty.
No, they do not.
Hi, Betty.
Oh, hi, Betty. Walks back.
It's like, oh hi, Biddy. Nope.
Nope.
As,
Someone else can go ahead.
as Rhiannon walks by, can she tell what he's mixing and making and some of the things that are on the table?
Roll an Arcana check.
Yeah, probably let's just step over here so you can see this.
Ouch.
No, you have no idea what he's doing.
Oh my god. Oh my
She'll make note of, I guess, colors and smells and stuff, and then she'll just keep walking. Come on, Beast. Go through.
Alright, so you get into this room here, and in the center of it is a rusted iron hand pump and a deep stone basin.
Oh, an iron hand pump. Is it in the center of the room?
Yes.
Ha.
We'll walk over to it.
Careful now, little one.
Well, get some water.
I wouldn't trust anything in here.
Alright, so there's a basin. You say, how deep is the basin?
It appears to be drawing water from somewhere far below. The basin itself, you could probably wash a cat in there.
That is oddly specific, but okay.
No, I was just thinking about the fact that my one of my cats just happens to love jumping into the sink and like wanting the water to be turned on.
Will looks into the basement. You could drown a cat here.
No, bathe a cat. Not well. Technically, you could drown anything in a sink. It doesn't. I'm saying you could bathe a cat in a sink like that.
And where should he stand if he wants to start pumping?
Anywhere he wants. It's not specifically marked on the map.
Okay, I want to stand up here.
You start cranking the pump.
Wait, really? I can
Soon-
stand up here?
Yeah, and soon water begins to fill the basin. It's nice and sparkly and clean. Smells fresh. Maybe slightly minerally, but good water all accounted for.
See? No need to be completely paranoid.
I'm just saying, if I were the madman who presented this, most things would be not as they seemed.
Yeah, well, this madman is so mad he will create ordinary things.
Yes. Some things will, some things won't. Never know. Dead ends are always fun.
Well,
And
no one wants water?
I have an endless supply right here.
No, right.
canter of endless water. Gotta love it. Alright, and that's about as much time as we have for this session, unfortunately.
Shit! Oh wait, I'm unmuted.
It was a pleasant surprise, though, that you guys decided to head back and re-enter the Dungeon of the Mad Mage after so many months away from it.
Yeah, it's lovely to be back.
After all that time I spent researching all the potential places you could have gone.
Is there any convenient numbers on the wall telling us what level we're on?
No. But
Darn.
it's fun that I happened to... I was just looking at the map at random to figure out where the portal should be, and not even looking at the descriptions or anything, and going, this little room over here. I open up the room description, it's like, oh, there's already a portal in that room. This is perfect.
Wow.
So thanks everybody who joined for this session. Next week we're going to be continuing on this particular level of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Dungeon.
Oh, it was